From the CSI Baseball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II baseball coverage live on the ECC network. Today's conference matchup features the Spartans of St. Thomas Aquinas College taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joe Foreman, soon to be joined by my broadcast partner, Nick Durst, bringing you all of the action live from behind home plate during today's single 9-inning conference matchup. All of that action right here on the ECC network. For the College of Staten Island, they come in with a record of 6-8 on the season. The last time we saw the Dolphins here at home, they took on Bloomfield College, earning a split of that non-conference doubleheader. Since then, the Dolphins have played 4 games, 2 against Goldie Beacom College and 2 at Chestnut Hill College. The Dolphins dropped both games to Goldie Beacom by scores of 5-4 and 10-2. They picked up a big 15-1 win at Chestnut Hill to open up Sunday's doubleheader, but then dropped game 2 by a final score of 13-5. For St. Thomas Aquinas College, they come in with a record of 6-12 on the season. They won their last game on Tuesday against Bloomsburg in a close one by a final score of 10-9. The Spartans have won 2 of their last 4 games following a postponement, which brought the Florida portion of their schedule to a close. The Spartans, again, are 6-12 on the season. This is their first conference game. Same goes for the Dolphins, who are playing in their first conference matchup of the season. And ahead of today's game, we will take a look at today's starting pitching matchup for the Dolphins. It is their ace on the mound. John Esposito gets the start for the College of Staten Island, and it will be the second time that we here on Sportsnet have covered one of Esposito's starts this year. Esposito was very impressive in his last outing against Bloomfield last week, only gave up 1 run in that start. And for Esposito on the season, as I mentioned, he has been fantastic for the College of Staten Island. And I'll have to try and find his numbers as I'm digging through a stack of paperwork for the first time this year. Most of the time I have stats on my iPad. Today we're trying to make it work on paper, and I have to admit it's not going very well to this point, but I'll get those numbers on Esposito for you ahead of the start of today's game. I can promise you that. We do, however, have the numbers for the Spartans starting pitcher. And getting the start for St. Thomas Aquinas College in this game is Aaron Dona. And I'll have to dig through the paperwork to find the numbers for Dona. But Dona takes on John Esposito, and for Dona on the season, he has pitched to a 2.59 ERA, and that leads the Spartans among qualifiers. In 4 appearances and 4 starts, he's pitched to a record of 1 win and 1 loss, and in 24 1/3 innings, he's allowed 19 hits, 11 runs, 7 of those earned. He has walked 7 and struck out 31. He averages nearly 11.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. So Dona certainly a formidable starting pitcher for the Spartans in this game, who will be going up against Dolphins ace John Esposito. And I did mention Esposito's start in his last outing against Bloomfield. That was last week. He pitched very well in that game, only allowed 1 run, and showed the ability to pitch very well with men on base. Esposito escaped a bases-loaded, nobody-out jam in that game and helped the Dolphins stay in it early. CSI was struggling to find the big hit in that game. The Dolphins finally came through late, as it was Nick Cipoletti who connected on a 3-run double to clear the bases and give the Dolphins a 4-1 lead in that game. CSI would ultimately go on to pick up the victory over Bloomfield in that matchup. They took game 1 of that doubleheader and dropped game 2. And as promised, I do have the numbers for John Esposito, and we'll share those with you in just a moment. I have to reconfigure the settings here on my phone to get into landscape mode, but for Esposito on the season, we have a frozen phone now. Things not going well. Technology not cooperating, but with the save is my broadcast partner, Nick Durst, who makes his way into the booth. So we'll take a quick 30-second break, and when Nick joins me on the broadcast, we'll bring you those numbers for John Esposito and some more numbers for the College of Staten Island ahead of today's conference matchup with St. Thomas Aquinas College.
Stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
codify an authority,
or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we're back here on the ECC Network. Joe Foreman to be joined momentarily by Nick Durst. And as promised, I do have the numbers for John Esposito on the season as I finally get the technology to cooperate with me. For Esposito on the year, he has pitched to a record of 2 wins and 1 defeat. He has appeared in 6 games. 2 of those starts, he's pitched to a 1.06 ERA, and in 17 innings, he's allowed 10 base hits, 2 runs, both of those earned. He has walked 4 and struck out 16. He's only allowed 2 extra base hits, 1 double, and a home run. 56 opposing batters have hit just 179 against the Dolphins' ace. So Esposito has been money on the hill for CSI so far this year, and the starting lineup he will face for St. Thomas Aquinas College is as follows. Leading things off will be the center fielder, Nick O'Connor. Batting second will be the third baseman, Andrew Jamison. Batting third will be the second baseman, Matthew Johnson. In the cleanup spot will be the first baseman, Gregory DiGiaro. Batting fifth is the shortstop, Danny DiMarzo. Batting sixth is the right fielder, Andrew Guerra. Batting seventh is the catcher, Sean Lynch. Batting eighth is the designated hitter, Kyle LaGruda. And batting ninth will be the left fielder, Christopher Conti. For the College of Staten Island, their starting lineup is as follows. Leading things off will be the second baseman, Jake Myers. Batting second, the center fielder, number 21, Dominic Castiglione. Batting third is the designated hitter, number 33, Thomas Martin. In the cleanup spot will be the third baseman, number 24, Shendi Ulaj. Batting fifth will be the right fielder, number 11, Pat Gardner. Batting sixth is the first baseman, Stephen Kalika. Batting seventh is the shortstop, Nick Cipoletti. Batting eighth is the left fielder, Brian Burkhead. And batting ninth will be the catcher, Nick Campisi. And finally, I get the chance to welcome my broadcast partner, Nick Durst, into the booth just ahead of first pitch. Nick was getting settled to my right, fell victim to immense traffic on Victory Boulevard, but Nick braves the traffic and makes it here in time for first pitch.
Yeah, Joe, the kids are out of school. The school bus is kind of shutting some lanes. Welcome to Victory Boulevard. It took about 30 minutes to get down and finally entered here, but excited to join you for the first time this season right here on Sportsnet. And it is going to be really fun here to do the game with you. And as far as the Spartans are concerned, I was looking at their roster. This is a bit of a homecoming for some of these players. I counted 8 players on their team that are Staten Island natives. We have Mateo Reyes. He is a right-handed junior pitcher from Tottenville High School. Gary DiGiero, he's a junior infielder from Monsignor Farrell. Joseph Scarmadella, he's a sophomore infielder from Tottenville High School. They also have Justin Clayman, a sophomore infielder and outfielder from Monsignor Farrell. Matthew Palmani, he's from Moore Catholic. He is a freshman right-handed pitcher. They have Paul DeVito, a senior outfielder, and he is from Tottenville High School. So they also have Billy Mennett, who is a catcher from Monsignor Farrell, and David Potenza, a sophomore from Tottenville High School. So they are well represented here. Bit of a homecoming. We'll see if we see any of these players in the game today and if they can make an impact in their homecoming, because this will be the first time that they ever played here on Staten Island.
Should be a very interesting game to cover, as it is the first conference matchup of the season for both of these teams. No doubt should be an exciting game as the Dolphins get set to take the field. And I should note, as the Dolphins get set to take the field, a new uniform combination that I don't believe we have seen before. This one I do like. I see you shaking your head, Nick. I like this uniform combination. Certainly beats the pink jerseys with the blue pants.
I don't know, Joe. I just don't like the blue pants. But definitely looks better with the blue and white combination of the pink, which, of course, we saw last year around Mother's Day. So we'll see if the Dolphins are bringing those back this year. I know by popular demand, a lot of people want to see them. They are undefeated. They did win a doubleheader in that game. So we'll see in April. Perhaps the best shot we're going to see for those, maybe at the end of the season. Let's target around May 2nd when they play at Delphi. We'll see those pink and blues. But now it's time for the national anthem.
So with that, Nick and I will take another quick break. When we come back, Dolphins and Spartans here on the ECC Network.
You Know I'm Right is the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, entertainment, and pop culture. On the show, hosts Nick and Joe walk guests through the retelling of their humble beginnings, covering an array of topics from specific interests and hobbies to personal opinions regarding each facet of their industry. You Know I'm Right offers insight on how to adapt and advance, and offers alternative advice as opposed to a one-size-fits-all strategy. Above all else, the number one goal of You Know I'm Right is to offer listeners an exclusive behind-the-scenes vantage point not found anywhere else through its increasing list of professional connections. With a following that continues to grow daily, You Know I'm Right is transforming into a must-listen podcast in the right place at the right time. Find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You do not want to miss an episode of You Know I'm
Cobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins and Spartans coming up next here on CSI Sportsnet. The Dolphins have taken the field, and John Esposito has taken the mound for the College of Staten Island. As we mentioned, Esposito's season is off to a tremendous start, and he looks to continue to build upon that early success here this afternoon. In case you missed it, in the field for the College of Staten Island, from right to left in the outfield, Gardner, Castiglione, and Burkhead. On the infield, it is Kalika at first, Myers at second, Ulaj at third, Cipoletti at short, Campisi behind the plate, and once again, Esposito on the mound. The lineup for the Spartans is as follows. Leading off, Nick O'Connor. Batting second, Andrew Jamison. Batting third, Matthew Johnson. In the cleanup spot is Gregory DiJaro. Batting fifth is Danny DiMarzo. Batting sixth, Andrew Guerra. Batting seventh, Sean Lynch. Batting eighth, Kyle LaGruda. And batting ninth, Christopher Conti. Aaron Dona is on the mound for St. Thomas Aquinas College.
So John Esposito, the 6'3" junior from Susan Wagner, back on the mound. Only given up 2 earned runs this season. Curious to see how deep he goes in this game. Only has 1 start of 6 innings. The season other appearances were 4 innings or less.
Well, that one start that went 6 innings was one of the last 2 games we covered here on Sportsnet. A Dolphins win over the Bloomfield College Bears. CSI took Game 1 and dropped Game 2 in last week's doubleheader. As the game opens with a foul ball, Esposito ahead of Nick O'Connor 0-1, and O'Connor takes up and away. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. And that finds the outside corner for a called strike 2.
If they're able to paint the outside corner like that all day, it's going to be major issues for the opposition.
We had a pitcher's umpire last time the Dolphins took the field here at home, as O'Connor swings and misses for strike 3, and Campese will complete the putout for the game's first out.
Easy squeezy Campese over there, getting the grab and strikeout. Good start here for Esposito and the Dolphins.
Andrew Jamison will be the batter, and taking a look at his spray chart from last year, he was really driving the ball well against the Dolphins when the Spartans visited the CSI Baseball Complex as he looks at strike 1. These two teams have met 8 times. 4 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie for the Dolphins, as that one is popped up foul and into the seats. Dolphins have lost 3 straight against the Spartans. Those games all played last season, as that's fouled straight back over our batter's cam.
Ooh, losing a lot of balls here, Joe, early on.
Better to be one of the pitchers chasing foul balls early in the game than late in the game, because I could tell from standing outside for a short time it is going to get cold tonight. And that is just off the outside corner for a ball. 1-2 the count on Jamison.
Jamison came into today batting .267 and had 11 runs batted in.
Comes the 1-2 pitch, and that's swung on and missed for strike 3.
Another one. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Esposito to get the afternoon started. Now we had a lot of rain last night, Joe. I know you and I were worried the game might get rained out, but the field looks pretty good, so good job by the grounds crew to get us ready for this one.
Aside from a couple of trouble spots in the corners of the infield, all is well with the field. And once again, Esposito gets ahead in the count, 0-1, this time on Matthew Johnson. And that's a half swing at the 0-1 pitch, but Johnson went around for strike 2. Esposito 1 pitch away from striking out the side. And the 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3 as John Esposito gets off to another great start. He fans 3 in the opening inning, and heading into the bottom half of the first, we have no score from the College of Staten Island.
Cobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10%.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. No score heading into the bottom half of the first inning, but in the top half, it was a dominant start on the mound for John Esposito.
3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts. Does not get any better than that. Absolute perfection there at the top of the first for Esposito. See if the Dolphins can give him some run support here, because he does have 1 loss on this season. He's 2-1, but he only has given up 2 runs on the season. So you could make this case that he should be 3-0, and maybe that's why in baseball now the wins and losses don't play as much.
Well, it took a while for the Dolphins to get Esposito a lead against Bloomfield last week, but once CSI got in front, they never looked back, as leading things off for CSI will be the East Coast Conference Player of the Week, Jake Myers.
Myers off to a fantastic start this season, and Coach Morrow loves riding him in at the top of the lineup.
We saw Myers both leading off and batting ninth against Bloomfield last week, so versatility for him in the lineup and a player who can get it done both with the bat and with the glove.
16 hits, 11 runs scored, 2 doubles, and a home run this season, along with 3 RBIs, 21 total bases, and 9 walks, so obviously a patient hitter at the plate.
He takes the 0-1 pitch just high. And that double play combination of Myers and Cipoletti, something that can have Dolphins fans very excited moving forward into the future. Those two in the middle of that infield formed a great pairing, turning 2. And here Myers is ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Myers with an OPS of nearly 1,100 on the season. Nick mentioned some of the strong offensive numbers as Myers takes on the outside corner for a called strike 2. Two and 2 the count on the Dolphins' second baseman. And the pitch from Dona is swung on and missed for strike 3. So 4 straight swinging strikeouts to open up this game.
Aaron Dona not going to be outdone by Esposito. Gets a strikeout of his own here to start the game.
That will bring Dominic Castiglione to the plate. And Castiglione looks at the first pitch he sees for a called strike 1.
Castiglione batting .488 on the season, leading the team. OPS of 1.179. Has started all 14 games.
Here comes the 0-1, and that's down in the dirt. So those who watched our last broadcast may recall, just might recall, that I was a bit upset with the ruling on a ball hit by Castiglione early in that last game. I wanted Dom to be awarded a hit. The play was called an error, as the 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2. I think Castiglione tipped that into the glove of Sean Lynch, but as I was saying, an error was charged on a ball that I believed should have been a hit for Castiglione. After the game, they went back and did change that to a hit. So 1 week later, I'm vindicated as Castiglione hits that one well out to left center field, giving chase is O'Connor, and that's over his head. It one-hops the wall. And Castiglione is into second base standing with a 1-out double.
Great job there by him, Joe. He's able to crush that one into left center. And if you look right now, we will take a look at the replay, of course. And what you'll notice, it's a little tough on the screen here, but when you get to it, as we're going to speed this up for the swing, the flagpole, you'll see the wind is blowing out into left center quite a bit there. So that one hung up there, but the center fielder unable to get that. Nice job there by Castiglione to get the offense started this afternoon.
That's a good point you made, Nick, because when that ball was in flight, I thought O'Connor had a good chance to get there and make the catch, but that ball just kept carrying over his head as Thomas Martin takes up high for ball 1.
Now Martin in a prime spot here for an RBI. Surprisingly has 4 this season.
Dona comes set and delivers the 1-0, and that's off the inside corner for ball 2. First base is open if Dona chooses to work around Martin and set up the force at any base. And he comes in with a strike. Martin undoubtedly among the most feared hitters on this Dolphins team last year. Only hitting .229 thus far in 35 at-bats as he swings and misses at that 2-1 pitch for strike two.
Interesting shift as the shortstop. DeMarzo is almost up the middle. I know he's keeping the runner close, but Martin is a pull hitter.
Here comes the 2-2, and that is just off the outside corner. And Martin certainly favors that left side, so that is a bit surprising to see that, as the second baseman could just as easily hold Castiglione on from where he's positioned.
Typically, that's what you would see with a righty.
And Martin takes inside for ball four, so Dolphins now have two on, still just one out, and Shendi Ulaj will be the batter.
Ulaj batting .361 on the season, leading the team with 15 RBIs. So for Coach Moore right now, right guy at the right time. 2 home runs this season as well to go along with 2 doubles, 13 hits, 5 runs scored. And this is his 13th game he's playing this season and his 12th start.
Big opportunity here for Ulaj and the Dolphins to take an early lead as Shendi looks at that pitch up and away for ball one. I spoke about it quite a bit during our last broadcast, Nick. The Dolphins really struggled to cash in with men on base. And right now they have their cleanup hitter at the plate with an opportunity to take an early lead. And the situation all too familiar for this Dolphins team. As that one's fouled away.
Some men's basketball players in the stands now. Max Dillon Butler, Messiah Mallory, who is the ECC Rookie of the Year, and Josh Vargas.
Some CSI Dolphins star power in the building this afternoon as they cheer on their fellow student athletes.
I believe I see Lizzie LaFaro and Christina Arvello as well from the women's basketball team.
And Ulaj takes up and away for ball two. A lot of our student athletes, residents of Dolphin Cove, the dorm's located just beyond the right field wall, not a long walk to the baseball diamond from those residence halls, and many of our student athletes making their way in early in this game.
Good way to start the weekend, that's for sure.
And Ulaj takes up high for ball three, so Dona in danger of issuing his second straight walk, and that would load the bases for Pat Gardner. Three and one the count on the Dolphins' third baseman. And he offers it that pitch and fouls it straight back.
A lot of foul balls so far, but none towards us yet, Joe. I know you and Andrew had a little bit of a scare the last time out.
Andrew was a bit more scared than I was. That ball was well to our left. You wouldn't know it from listening, but it was to the left. As Ulaj fights off another one foul. The real scare came when a ball was fouled into the parking lot. You could hear the windshield shatter. And because there were very few spots, Andrew and I had to park much closer than I wanted. I was legitimately concerned. It may have been my car. Thankfully, it was not.
Well, we did see earlier in the season in soccer, in the school year, Coach Kelsey Carey, basketball coach, assistant coach, her car got hit with the soccer ball.
Hate to see it as Ulaj takes just off of the outside corner for ball four, and the Dolphins now have the bases loaded and one out.
And the right fielder, Pat Gardner, is going to come up. Struggling so far this season, only batting .182, and he has 6 hits and 5 RBIs, but this is a huge at-bat for him right now, the lefty. So even if he's able to put the ball in play here to the right side, the infield's not playing in. He's got some decent speed. He should be able to get the runner in here as long as he's not doubled up.
The corners are in slightly. Right on the edge of the infield dirt, but it won't matter as that's hit deep to right center field into the gap, and it rolls all the way to the wall. That should score 2. Ulaj is being held at third, and it is a 2 RBI double for Pat Gardner to give the Dolphins an early 2-0 lead.
Garner wasted no time, steps to the plate, and cranks that one right into the right center field gap. 2 runners will score. We'll take a look here at what happened on that one as the pitch is going to be delivered, and boom, hits that one deep off the bottom of the fence in right center field. 2 runners will score. Dolphins up 2-0 here in the bottom of the first with runners on second and third, and we're going to have a mound visit here for Stack.
And just before you entered the booth earlier, Nick, I was reading the numbers for Aaron Dona, and typically command is not a problem for the Spartans starting pitcher. He's only issued 7 walks in 24 and a third innings. He struck out 31 in those innings. That's almost 11 and a half strikeouts per 9. So Dona, not typically a pitcher who pitches from behind in the count, puts runners on base, and puts himself in a position where he has to attack the strike zone like he did there against Gardner. He attacked on the first pitch. Gardner made him pay.
Yeah, first pitch swinging there definitely was the good strategy. Dolphins now with Kalika up. He's batting .200 on the season. Looking to add on here to his 4 RBI total.
And the first pitch to Kalika is up and away for ball 1. Kalika with a chance to give the Dolphins a nice early cushion, and Stack knows how important those runners on base are, and they've brought the infield in all around. They are not conceding another run.
Kalika could just elevate this one into the air, take the sac fly.
He got tied up on that last pitch and on the hands for strike 1. This is a situation where if you trusted your pitcher to throw a strike, you could work around Kalika and set up the force at any base. But the way that Dona has pitched around the strike zone in this half inning, you can't afford to risk it. And that's hit toward the middle, played on the backhand by Johnson, and he throws out Kalika for a huge second out.
Beautiful job there by Johnson. He's playing in, cuts that one off, makes the play. 2 outs now, and Cipoletti is going to come to the plate here for the Dolphins. Definitely don't want to leave those runners on base. Cipoletti batting .205 on the season, and he has 9 RBIs, which is good for second on the team. Tied for second on the team with Castiglione.
Cipoletti had the big hit in Game 1 against Bloomfield last week, and he took a big swing right there at that first pitch, but came up empty for strike 1. I spoke about it briefly during our last broadcast, but Cipoletti has really been tearing it up here at home. As that gets by, Lynch to the backstop, and Ulaj will trot on home with the third Dolphins run. Gardner advances to third, and a wild pitch gives the Dolphins a 3-0 lead.
Dolphins will take the runs anywhere they can. Stack very unpleased, of course, with their performance here in the first inning. But we've seen it before, Joe. Early leads aren't necessarily held here, and when you got the wind to go like today, you could expect a lot of offense. However, Esposito was tremendous in that first inning.
And the 1-1 pitch misses up and away for ball 2, but I spoke about it with Andrew last time that we were on the air, and how very often we see a lot of high-scoring games with a lot of hits, in some cases a lot of errors, a lot of stolen bases. That really wasn't the case last time, as in our doubleheader, the two teams combined for 10 hits or fewer in both games.
Good fundamentals is what you want to see.
Certainly what I'm looking for out of a game. Good pitching and good fundamental baseball, as Cipoletti couldn't hold up the swing there, and the count runs full. We saw some very good pitching as well by both teams in that doubleheader last week. Here comes the payoff pitch, and that is on the outside corner for strike 3 called. So for Aaron Dona, that's his second strikeout of the inning, but the Dolphins tag him for 3 runs on 2 base hits in the opening frame, helped along by a wild pitch, and CSI leads 3-0 after 1.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Three nothing lead for the College of Staten Island heading to the top half of the second inning. The Dolphins looking to snap a 3-game losing streak against the Spartans and looking to pick up their first win in conference play this season. CSI off to a good start both on the mound and at the plate.
Absolutely. Esposito, 3 strikeouts to start the game. Dolphins at the bats, 3 runs to start the game, so up here 3-0. Gregory DeJaro is going to bat now for St. Thomas Aquinas to lead things off. He is the team leader with runs batted in 15. His batting average, third on the team at .273. As I mentioned in the pregame, one of the Staten Island guys who are making his return to the island to play some baseball.
First pitch of the inning is swung on and missed for strike 1, and Spartans down 3 early, but of course you cannot write them off. This is a team that hits at .375 on the season. Opponents hitting at .384 against them so far. So Stack accustomed to slugfests, and we may be in for a treat here tonight. 9 innings of baseball from the College of Staten Island.
Esposito here. We'll see if he has any effects from that long bottom of the first inning, because he came out guns blazing.
And that's hit into left field, and that drops in front of Burkhead and gets by him. Burkhead lost his footing, and into second base will be DeJaro. So DeJaro into second with a leadoff single, advances on the error, and very quickly Stack has a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, we'll take a look here. Burkhead just not able to handle that one, and he's lucky that that ball didn't roll all the way to the fence. As you see on your screen, kind of rolls just past him.
Well, I made a mistake on those batting numbers for the Spartans. That was their on-base percentage I was looking at. I have stats minus the column headers. The Spartans hitting at .261 on the season. Opponents hitting at .294. So DeJaro adds to that batting average just a bit. And Danny DiMarzo is behind in the count 0-1. And he hits one well out to left field. Burkhead nearly lost his footing again. He plays it on a bounce and then falls down. As holding at first will be DiMarzo. Coming in to score the first Spartans run is DeJaro, and very quickly the Dolphins' lead has been trimmed down to 3-1.
Yeah, Joe, got to wonder right now, what's the outfield conditions like there? Because it looks like a slip and slide at the moment. Clearly it's wet. The outfield does not get tarped. Burkhead stretching out right now. So we'll see if this is an issue throughout the game, the outfield and the wetness of the grass.
Perhaps a slugfest incoming for a different reason than I expected, as the outfield conditions certainly could play a role moving forward. We got a lot of rain here on Staten Island last night. Andrew Guerra is the batter, and Just took a called strike one. Comes the 0-1. That's hit in the air out to straightaway right. Gardner settles underneath it, and he makes the catch for the first out.
Gardner there, able to make the catch. So 1 out here for the Dolphins, and Sean Lynch will come to the plate for St. Thomas Aquinas.
We saw a ball get by Lynch in the previous half inning to plate the third Dolphins run. I believe it officially went down as a wild pitch. It looked like it skipped in as Lynch takes a called strike one. And the 0-1 is just off the inside corner. The 1-1 from Esposito on its way, and that's it on the ground to third, and unable to make the backhanded stop was Ulaj. Heading to third is DeMarzo, and Lynch will be into second base standing with a 1-out double.
Tough hop there. Goes right past Ulaj. And St. Thomas Aquinas now 1 hit away from tying this game up.
Dolphins falling victim to some really tough breaks here. Extra bases being afforded perhaps by the field conditions. Definitely on the play where the ball ended up getting by Burkhead. Then on the ensuing base hit where Burkhead nearly lost his footing again. And that ball took a weird hop over by third base. Kyle LaGruda is ahead in the count here, 1-0.
Kalika and Ulaj in at the corners.
Tying run stands in scoring position at second as LaGruda takes a called strike one. And if he hits a ball down either line, playing the corners in could prove costly in this spot.
Certainly would think it would empty the bases.
Here comes the 1-1. And LaGruda got a piece. He chops it foul. And the count is 1-2. John Esposito looking for his fourth punch out. To get one here would be huge. Christopher Conti, the number 9 hitter, stands on deck. And that's chopped on the ground to short. That will score one, and I'm not sure why Cipoletti came home with that ball as it gets by Campisi, rolls to the backstop, and advancing to second is LaGruda.
Not a smart decision there by Cipoletti to throw home. Would have had to be a perfect throw to get him out at the plate there. And that allows the batter to advance all the way to second base on that E6.
I admire Cipoletti's confidence in his ability to cut down the runner trying to score. And you're right, Nick. A perfect throw had him, but it would have needed to be a throw into the runner, up the line, with a lot behind it. And I don't think that throw had any of those characteristics. They never had a chance as it sailed over Campisi's head to the backstop. I think it took Campisi by surprise as well.
I don't think he was expecting that because typically the catcher comes out in front of the plate for a play like that for the tag. And this one's going to get by him.
That's a wild pitch, but they have a play at the plate, and the runner is in safely as Sean Lynch comes in with the game-tying run, sliding just beneath the tag of Esposito.
Well, Joe, we got a replay of that, and I got to say, great job by the umpire there to get in position to make that call.
That was an awfully close play, but we have a great look at it, and you nailed it, Nick. A good call by the home plate umpire, no doubt about it. Lynch was safe at the plate, and now the go-ahead run stands just 90 feet away.
Well, Joe, I think we've got to place the over-under in total runs here at probably 12 and a half, I think. I think we're in for a lot of offense this afternoon into evening.
I think that's a safe bet. As the conference at the mound comes to an end, and it's been a really tough luck inning for John Esposito on the mound. He's given up 3 base hits, but none of them really hit that hard. The Dolphins have also committed 2 errors behind him.
And I make the case it could have been 3 errors.
Two and 0 the count on Conti, and he slices one foul. Two balls and 1 strike the count on the Spartans' 9th place hitter. And he swings and misses for strike 2. And that pitch is down and away to run the count full. So runner on third, 1 away. The count is full on Christopher Conti. And that's hit foul down the left field line and out of play. Another payoff pitch upcoming. And that's chopped foul once again. So Esposito is now up to 33 pitches after Arandona threw 32 in the opening frame.
Yeah, Joe, you have to figure, especially, it's not that warm out, it's still early in the season. Not going to see a long distance start here for Esposito with the pitch count where it is.
Certainly tough to imagine him going those 6 innings you mentioned earlier in the broadcast with a pitch count up to now 35 with this next pitch here in the 2nd inning. Another 3-2 pitch upcoming to Conti. And that's down in the dirt for ball 4.
Good to see we have some fans here. We got our colleague Sal Caruso and his children are here visiting us in the booth.
Not sure Sal has a bigger fan than me right now, as he just showed us a nice Jimmy Mac's pizza.
And we have to shout out one of our biggest fans, B. Ford. Don't know his name, but he's a big fan of us. Tagged us on Instagram and made a nice post for us the last basketball game of the season.
We appreciate all of the kind words from our viewers and the student athletes, as that pickoff nearly able to get the runner leading too far off of first. And they'll check on the runner again, and I don't know if you caught that, Nick. It looked like the umpire was about to signal out and changed his mind.
Well, as an umpire myself, there's a number of reasons why you get caught in that situation. And the main reason is it could be a slight bobble or something, and that makes you change your call. So something to keep an eye on there at the pickoffs is going to be if Kalika is getting them cleanly. Because any sort of slight bobble or maybe a delay with going for the tag is going to force the umpire to change his mind, and sometimes it looks a little awkward. I'm calling that position myself.
That's a good point. I never thought of that. We have a resident umpire in the booth. I knew that, but you're our rules expert and analyst now. We have our statistician expert, Louis Matrone. We have a rules expert in Nick Durst, and
this Sunday, making my season debut, umpiring as that pitch is swung on and missed. I'll be right next door here at Willowbrook Field 3, 10:45 a.m. for some men's softball action. So, looking forward to getting back on the field, but not looking forward to the weather on Sunday. Should be mid-40s. Yikes.
Yikes is right. I would not want to be out there in the mid-40s, as that is swung on and missed for strike 3, and Esposito records a big second out as the tying run, or I should say the go-ahead run, still stands over at third.
Right now, Joe Esposito, if he wants to get out. He's basically got to do it all by himself, unfortunately.
That strikeout is the fourth for the Dolphins starting pitcher. And that's it on the ground to third, fielded cleanly by Ulaj. His throw over with plenty of time to retire Jameson for the final out of the inning. But not before the Spartans get even. 3 runs up on the scoreboard behind 3 base hits and 2 Dolphins errors. We are now tied at 3.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back here from the CSI Baseball Complex. And Nick, on the topic of viewers who have tagged you and I on social media and have interacted, we've gotten some more input from the outside. I personally like this uniform combination. We have others who feel these pants should be lit on fire and thrown in the garbage. So that's the other extreme.
I got to say, I'm not a fan. I'm feeling blue about these baby blues here. I think the pants need to be white or gray. That's, to me, the best combination.
I don't think you can go wrong with either of those colors, but I personally do not take offense with these blue pants.
If you look at Stack's uniforms, they have like gold, but they have like the trimming up the side that goes into the top of the jersey, which I don't mind, as that pitch is fouled off. But I don't know. I think it's tough here. Obviously, this is a better combination than the scrubs with the pink and blue. But this is still a nice tribute to those in the medical field, the nurses who wear these pants on a daily basis.
1-1 the count on Brian Burkhead, who leads off for the Dolphins in the bottom half of the second, and he now gets ahead in the count, 2-1. It was an adventurous top half of the inning for Burkhead in left field. Lost his footing several times out there, and we spoke to our official scorer, Joe Masha. I believe they're going to add another error to the Dolphins' tally, which would make 3.
Yeah, because last inning, I misspoke at the time. I said it was 3 errors in that inning, but it was only 2. But I think when that ball went past Burkhead, the runner advanced, so should definitely, in my opinion, been given an error.
And the 3-1 pitch misses up high for ball 4. So the Dolphins have the leadoff man on here in the second. And that will bring Nick Campisi to the plate.
So he runs down to first, and on the topic of running right beyond the left field fence, as you get a look here, you have the track and field area. And yesterday, Joe, big news come out of the track and field area where there was going to be a lot of running in the future.
They broke ground today on a new expansion of a soccer field being added within the track. And
why not?
I believe they're upgrading the track with that as well. So we had a groundbreaking ceremony here on campus today. You can check out some of that over at the CSI social media accounts. I know CSI Today was there.
Yes, of course. CSI Today all over it.
No doubt.
Now, I would assume it's going to be used for a lot of rentals and stuff, maybe the PSAL Championship, because it's really going to be a nice field there, especially all things considered with the way a lot of the fields are upkept around the island.
Now, I've been hearing some rumblings. I don't know if it will come to fruition, but some rumblings that we may get to call a soccer game from that new location next year. Would be interesting.
I was thinking, maybe they could now do multiple soccer games at the same time. Might have a big tournament here at some point.
A lot of different possibilities that could be opened up.
Could be some two-hand touch football, perhaps, down the road
Maybe
as well.
I also heard that there may be some lacrosse lines that are going to be painted on that field. Now, that's not to say CSI is adding lacrosse. Don't take that from what I just said.
There you have it. Joe Foreman at 4:13 p.m. March 25th says lacrosse is coming to CSI.
He did not say any such thing as Campese draws the walk, but what I was going to say about that is we may have some lacrosse on campus anyway, some rentals and perhaps some recreational lacrosse for those interested. Keep an eye on that new field.
How about some rugby? Maybe they should put up some end zones, rent some football rentals. I mean, why not?
I'm all for that. Now,
that would be great for the school, I think.
I'll have to triple check with Sal, as I already double checked with him, so the next check will be a triple check. But the faculty staff football game is coming up. We are playing. I can't wait for it. So,
is the game on the soccer field?
Yes.
Oh, so I'm playing a full field.
Turf field, full size, as the Dolphins call the bunt, and that rolls foul.
Good idea to try the bunt there and perhaps take the lead here and hope you can bounce back defensively. Now that game that you just mentioned, I mean, it's very hyped up. It's the return of a while. I know our team's going to have quite the advantage with the speed and stamina, but hopefully you are able to stay in shape. The Tin Man's sometimes out there.
Yeah. The weather's much better now. It's the cold weather that does me in. Need to train a little more explosively in the gym. I just lift heavy stuff and put it down. Not much in terms of twisting and turning and really building that durability.
If our quarterback is listening, I just want him to know right now, throw it to me. I'm open deep already. I'll be waiting in the end zone.
He's listening. I'm talking to him.
I'll be waiting in the end zone.
Sounds good. So, Jake Myers, the batter, unable to get the bunt down, takes that 0-2 pitch off the outside corner for ball one. Now, I speak a lot about bunting on the broadcast, and our regular viewers know my thoughts on bunting in most situations. I usually don't like it, but in this game, in this situation, I'm okay with it. Not that it matters what I think. However, Myers couldn't get it down, and we'll see what comes of him being able to swing the bat here. And that's it on the ground to third. Tough play there by Jamison, and he goes the short way for the out at second.
Nice job there by Jamison to make that play. Myers, the ECC player of the week, makes his way over to first with his speed, and no chance with his speed to double him up.
Well, Nick, I think you misspoke there. The ECC player of the week?
Yes. Putting it out there, manifesting that he's going to be a two-time player of the week.
Wasn't sure where that came from.
But if you want to see who wins player of the week each week, make sure you're following at CSI Dolphins on Instagram.
Great plug of our social media account as Dominic Castiglione takes up and in for ball one.
And let us know on the latest post on that page, which is the game day preview. Just give us a yay or nay and let us know what your thoughts are on the Dolphins' blue pants.
Well, that's where I was going before, and I got lost heading in a different direction. But when I brought up our viewers who have chimed in on social media and showed us their appreciation throughout the season and over the years, I wanted their opinion on the pants. That's where I was going with that, and I got lost somewhere else. So I'm glad you came back around to that, as that ball's chopped on the ground to short. Backhanded by DeMarzo, and once again he goes the short way to get the out at second. But coming in to score, the go-ahead run is Burkhead.
Well, not ideal there to get the force out and get the second out of the inning, but take that RBI, puts the Dolphins ahead.
CSI takes the lead with two very softly hit ground balls.
Now, Joe, I'm looking at the bullpen here for St. Thomas Aquinas. I'm pretty excited. Can't make out the guy's number, but it looks like we got a submarine pitcher warming up down there. That is going to be really interesting to call if he comes in the game.
I think the number is 0, which would be Yanni Orfanides. Looks like there are 2 Spartans throwing, but one is wearing a jacket, so his jersey number is covered. Thomas Martin, the batter, he's behind in the count 0-1 as they check on the runner over at first. With 2 out, we'll see if Castiglione looks to run as Martin takes up high for a ball. Arandona now over 50 pitches in the game. Here comes the 1-1, and that is ripped right into the glove of Jameson at third, who makes the catch for the 3rd out. So the Dolphins do take the lead back. They scratch across 1 run without the benefit of a base hit. The Dolphins back in front. Our score 4-3 heading to the 3rd inning. And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins back in front by a score of 4-3. The Dolphins scratch home 1 run without the benefit of a base hit, and hopefully their defense will fare a bit better behind John Esposito if you're a fan of CSI. The Dolphins really struggled in the field during the last inning, and that's a big part of the reason why the Spartans were able to get even.
Absolutely, Joe. Burkhead had trouble on 2 balls. Ball snuck up on Ulaj, and then Cipoletti threw a run away at the plate. So only officially 2 errors right now, but 4 plays that you can make the argument should have been made. And Dolphins now clinging to a 1-run lead, 4-3, able to get 1 back last inning.
Well, I'm taking a look up at the outfield scoreboard. As you said, Nick, they have 2 errors. I also have 2 errors, so that might be right. 1 error was on the throw by Cipoletti, and the second was when Burkhead fell down and allowed the runners to advance an extra base. Now, did that happen twice or once with Burkhead falling down and allowing a runner to advance?
The first time it went under his glove and it went past him.
Right.
The second time he fell. So there was 2 plays there. The first time he was able to get to second because he hit the ball. The second time the runner was able to score. And I guess no error on Ulaj there for that play at third.
No, definitely not. That was a tough backhanded stop. So looks like 2 errors is correct unless you gave Burkhead 2 errors on his own and then Cipoletti 1. I thought we had 2 errors on Burkhead, but in my official stats, or I should say unofficial stats, I only have 1. So unimportant as that's hit on the ground to third. Ulaj has it, and his throw into the runner just a bit, but Kalika handles it for the 1st out.
Nice job there by Kalika to come off the fair territory part of the bag there. Catch that in foul territory, makes the play. And we'll see with the majors next year, Joe, looks like we're going to go to 18-inch bases. So I'd assume the NCAA would follow next season.
We will see, as I'm not sure how those developments trickle down into the college game. I'm actually uncertain. If this game was to go to extra innings, do we have a runner on second base?
I hope not.
I agree with you. I'm completely with you on that. I'm trying to think back to last year. I don't think we started those extra innings last year with runners on second.
We know in softball, they ultimately end up with the runner on second.
Now, the coaches can agree to do that 1 inning early. We found that out last week. As that swung on and missed by Gregory DiGiaro.
Such a forceful pitch there by Esposito that his hat came off. Don't see that too often. Now, as far as that runner on second goes, I think they should at least play one regular inning of extra innings before you do that. As Esposito strikes him out. Another strikeout here for Esposito today.
For Esposito, that strikeout is his 5th. That will bring up Danny DiMarzo. And DiMarzo hits one up in the air out to straightaway left. Burkhead settles underneath it and makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. So it's a quick 1-2-3 third inning for John Esposito. The Dolphins maintain a 1-run lead.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins leading the Spartans by a score of 4-3 heading into the home half of the 3rd inning. For the Dolphins, it will be 4, 5, and 6. Ulaj, Gardner, and Kalika. As we did see the Spartans with 2 arms warming up in that right field bullpen, but it looks like Aaron Dona returns to the mound for the 3rd inning, so he'll look to keep this a 1-run game.
Yeah, we have to keep in mind, Joe, these two teams are playing tomorrow in a doubleheader, so they'll try to get as much out of him as they can here. And it's only a 1-run game right now, so why not? If he gets in some trouble, I guess we'll see the bullpen get going again. But right now, it is empty, and this is Aaron Dona's game for as long as he's able to keep the score in check.
Shendi Ulaj makes his way to the plate for CSI as they look to build upon a 1-run lead. Ulaj, without an official at-bat yet, he walked in his first plate appearance.
Number 24, Shendi Ulaj.
Well, he comes up here and getting some nice cheers from the Dolphin faithful. Can we call them the Fanatics as well, Joe, even though it's not basketball?
Absolutely.
Going to need to give out those Fanatics winter coats and hats, though.
That sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money. We'll have to run that by Alberto Sanchez first. I think he's here. I did see him earlier.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work with the, everything, but...
Everything?
It's cold out, so we can't be getting winter coats here. I know.
As Ulaj lines one on the ground through the right side for a leadoff base hit. And for the Dolphins, that's their 3rd hit of the game.
Good job here by Dolphins to get things started. Last point on the winter coats, Joe. I'm surprised you don't have yours today. We usually see wear for softball. And I know you paid quite a bit of money for that, so that's why winter coats or anything of the sort will not be in the budget. I see some crazy fans out there in shorts and Crocs. I don't know what this person is doing, but he looks like he's very cold, and I'm not surprised.
Neither am I. However, that piece you're talking about, the jacket that I purchased from the official sideline store, 1, I got it at a discount, and 2, it's a windbreaker that is completely unfit for this temperature. That's something you'll see either later in the season or early in the fall. As Pat Gardner is ahead in the count 1-0 here. He doubled home a pair in his first at-bat, jumped on the first pitch with the bases loaded. And the 1-0 misses downstairs for ball 2.
2-0 here. Gardner probably looking for the fastball right now to give another ride like he did in the first inning.
Gardner can lock in on one location right here with the count 2-0. And he takes a strike on the inside corner.
Crowding the plate there was Gardner. Sometimes you see players try to do that when they're ahead to try to draw the ball. That time, Dona, not confused by it, able to get the strike on the corner.
And the 2-1 misses inside for ball 3, but on that 2-0 pitch, you could see Gardner nodding in agreement with the strike call. You don't see that too often.
Always good to see that when you're an umpire, because that affirms for you, you know you're making the right call.
And the runner is going. That might save the Dolphins an out, and the play is booted by DeMarzo coming over from short. Gardner is safe at first. Ulaj is safe at second, and the Dolphins have 2 on with nobody out for Stephen Kalika.
Dolphins here going to try to capitalize now after the big error. But as you mentioned there, Joe, the runner going caused the error, in my opinion, and forced the shortstop, DeMarzo, to rush his play there.
I think you're right about that, Nick. And we've seen it so many times, especially on balls hit to shortstop, where you have a runner on second base going to third, and that runner disrupts the play.
Kalika showing bunt here. Not usually the type of person you see bunting for this team.
Not the hitter you expect to bunt, but this is a situation where I'm okay with the bunt. Again, it doesn't matter what I think, but I'm so vocally opposed to bunting, and that's part of the reason why, as Kalika hit that ball very well, but he hit it right at Nick O'Connor for the first out.
That one got caught up in the wind there, and O'Connor able to make the grab. Now, you have to wonder what the state of the bunt is going to be moving forward here, because in the majors, no more pitchers hitting. So you have to really wonder how much we're going to see of the bunt moving forward here at the major league level. And, of course, what you see at the major league level ultimately trickles down into the amateur level.
Speaking of things I hate, no more pitchers hitting. Really don't like that, as Nick Cipoletti takes an ugly swing at that first pitch for strike 1.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate at the majors level, and not going to see some great moments anymore, like Bartolo Colon's home run or Jacob deGrom leading the team in hitting, but it definitely benefits your fighting Phils.
I was going to say, how can you deprive Mets fans of watching deGrom hit, as that foul ball, had it not hit the backstop, was coming right into my lap.
And the window is now open now, so we have to watch out for the soundboard here.
That was coming right for me, but as I was saying, you deprive Mets fans the chance to watch deGrom hit, Phillies fans the chance to watch Zach Wheeler hit a little bit, and moments like that Bartolo Colon home run, of course. 1-2 the count on the Dolphins shortstop. 2 on, 1 away for the Dolphins as they look to add to a 1-run lead. Brian Burkhead would be next. Comes the 1-2. And Cipoletti chases up the ladder and foul tips it into the glove of Sean Lynch for strike 3.
Cipoletti unable to catch up to that one. So Donna gets a much-needed strikeout. Now there's 2 outs here. And he's has a vision here of getting out of this inning, and it's in sight as Burkhead comes to the plate for the Dolphins.
Big opportunity here for Brian Burkhead. He's also without an official at bat. Walked in his first plate appearance, and he hits that one right at Andrew Guerra on a line. Now, the ball came out of his glove on the exchange, so the inning is over. Not sure if we even caught him exchanging that ball from glove to bare hand, but that is the 3rd out of the inning. The Dolphins strand a pair. They maintain a 4-3 lead heading into the 4th, and when we come back, Nick Durst takes over play-by-play right here on the ECC Network.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
And we are back here at the College of Staten Island. Dolphins ahead right now, 4-3 over St. Thomas Aquinas. And Esposito heads back to the mound. Joe, we had our first inning there with no runs scored.
Haven't seen that yet in this game, and a big part of the reason why is the Dolphins failing to come through in that spot with that big hit with runners on base. It has been so elusive for this Dolphins team over their last, now 3 games here at home anyway. They did come through in the first inning, certainly could have struck for more in the opening frame, but in that last inning they had 2 on with nobody out, failed to score, and we'll see if this game develops into more of a pitcher's duel moving forward. As I mentioned, the numbers for both pitchers coming into this game, very strong with sub-3 ERAs on the year.
Absolutely, and Esposito, he's been the leader of the Dolphins so far today, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs, only 1 earned, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. Now, for St. Thomas Aquinas, stepping to the plate, the right fielder, number 33, Andrew Guerra. 1 at-bat so far today, and he flew out. On deck, Sean Lynch, who is 1 for 1. Esposito's first pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. Overpowering there, Joe.
Sure did, and it looks like the Dolphins may have been respecting the bunt just a bit as Ulaj was creeping in at third base as that pitch was being delivered.
Second pitch from Esposito there, right down the middle. Guerra just looking. And strike 2, 0-2 here to start on the batter. The 0-2 pitch. Fouled off towards the St. Thomas Aquinas dugout, so they'll do it again.
And you can see with 2 strikes on these hitters, John Esposito just putting a little bit more behind those pitches. He's looking for his 6th strikeout.
Esposito's 0-2 pitch outside for a ball. So 1-2 now.
That breaking ball sailed on Esposito just a bit. Came with the power on the previous pitch, the finesse on that last one.
The 1-2 pitch to Guerra. Swung on and missed, and he struck him out. Another strikeout here for Esposito.
Well, I think you just struck out the sound system of some of the viewers listening at home. You sent our volume levels into the red right there, Nick.
Well, it's very difficult to engineer and do play-by-play, but I'll do my best.
I got you covered. I turned that volume knob down for you.
The first pitch to Lynch there is taken for a strike. So Sean Lynch, 1 for 1. Got the offense going before for St. Thomas Aquinas. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed for strike 2. Right now, Joe Esposito just looking overpowering.
Making it look easy, pitching from ahead in the count.
And swung on and missed. Strike 3. He struck him out. So another strikeout here for Esposito, who is currently just in cruise control. And that's going to bring Kyle LaGruda to the plate. He earlier had an RBI and a fielder's choice. So the first pitch here from Esposito. Inside and low, taken for ball 1.
Esposito has had good command of both his breaking ball and his fastball in this game. That's part of the reason why he's been clicking so well out on the mound.
The 1-0 pitch, I believe that was tipped. So it goes as a strike, 1-1 here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Dolphins leading St. Thomas Aquinas 4-3. The 1-1 pitch from Esposito. Taken a bit high, so that's going to put the count to 2-1. And it's been a while here, Joe, since Esposito's fallen behind anybody in this game.
It sure has, and when he's been behind in the count, he hasn't stayed behind in the count very long.
The 2-1 pitch. Taken low, so 3-1 here. And Esposito's going to have to fight back, as Kyle LaGruda has been very patient up there. So 3-1 pitch upcoming. Esposito into the windup and the pitch. Strike 2 right there, and you could see a big no-no right there by LaGruda, who he started walking to first. 9 times out of 10, Joe, when that happens, the umpire will call a strike.
I was about to ask you, how does that affect this at-bat moving forward with a payoff pitch upcoming?
Well, we shall see. 3-2, anything close, the umpire probably calls it. That one is ripped into center field, and that's going to go down for a base hit. So nice job there by LaGruda to rebound there and get the hit here, as Esposito will now have to face a fourth batter, and that's going to bring Christopher Conti to the plate. He walked his first time up.
And that was a good 3-2 pitch by Esposito. He ran that pitch in on the hands of LaGruda, but that's good hitting as well. Was able to turn on that pitch and just got enough behind that swing to loft that ball into shallow center field.
So Esposito now working from the stretch. His first pitch is outside for a ball. So it is 1-0 here in the top of the fourth with the runner on first base. Dolphins ahead 4-3. That pitch is tipped, and it is now 1-1.
Conti, the 9th place hitter for the Spartans, and if you're Esposito, you'd love to get through this inning right here, and you hate to face the top of the order to lead off an inning, but you certainly don't want to give a chance to the top of the order with 2 men on, and of course, if Conti reaches, that would be the situation at hand.
The 1-1 pitch to Conti. Taken for a ball. Dolphins bench not tell me about that. The Dolphins supporters in the stands also surprised.
Campese asked the home plate umpire where that missed. He thought he had strike 2.
The 2-1 pitch upcoming. That is outside for a ball. So back-to-back batters now here, Joe, where Esposito falls behind 3-1.
Well, you said it. Esposito was on cruise control to open up this inning. Now he's up to 65 pitches with this next one and perhaps has to face at least one more batter.
That ball is taken and gets away, goes to the backstop. However, the runners will not advance any further, so fortunate break there for the Dolphins. But now, St. Thomas Aquinas has runners on first and second. And as you mentioned, Joe, that brings us to the top of the lineup as Nick O'Connor will step to the plate. Good news for Esposito, though. He is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today.
On the other side, Esposito issuing those 2 walks. Those are his first 2 base on balls issued in the game.
First pitch taken there with a little check swing right there for a strike. 0-1.
2 at-bats. O'Connor has been overmatched, has struck out swinging twice.
Esposito's 0-1 pitch to O'Connor. Swung on and missed. Strike 2.
He has O'Connor guessing in this at-bat. He was way out in front of that off-speed pitch.
What do you do here, Joe? Do you come back with the heat?
I think I waste one. An off-speed pitch down, probably in the dirt.
Looks like what Campese's calling for here as Esposito goes to the stretch at 0-2, and that pitch ends up high, so it looks like he did go with the fastball.
He did. He challenged him up and in.
So 1-2 here with 2 outs, with 2 runners on in a 4-3 game in the top of the 4th inning here with the Dolphins ahead. The 1-2 pitch is low. Nice job there by Campese with the block. And the runners are not able to go anywhere.
That's a big block right there, as a base hit may not tie the game in this situation. If that gets by Campese, a base hit certainly ties the game. Could very well give Stack the lead. So a big defensive play behind the plate by the Dolphins catcher.
Great job there by Campese. Now a 2-2 pitch with 2 on and 2 outs. That ball is dribbled to the right side, but that is foul. So the count remains 2-2.
The 8, 9, and 1 hitters giving Esposito a really hard time after he motored straight through Guerra and Lynch to open up the inning. He's had a lot of trouble getting through these next 3 hitters.
So the 2-2 pitch once again. Swung on and missed. Strike three. Esposito gets around the danger here. 2 runners left on and 3 batters struck out. And the Dolphins maintain their 4-3 lead as we head to the bottom of the 4th.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
And we are back here at the College of Staten Island campus as the Dolphins are taking on the Spartans. Dolphins ahead 4-3, heading to the bottom of the 4th. And what a great job there, Joe, by Esposito to end up getting his 3rd strikeout and working around some danger in the top of the inning.
Well, if you're a fan of CSI or a member of that coaching staff, you would have loved to have seen Esposito get that 3rd out a bit more quickly. Really had to work for it, but he was able to bear down, was forced to face Nick O'Connor, the Spartans' leadoff hitter, after he surrendered back-to-back walks. And for the 3rd time in this game, he struck out O'Connor swinging. So he really has the number of the Spartan center fielder so far in this game.
Yeah, so we mentioned, you don't want to go to the top of the order, but he has controlled the top of the order so far today. Of course, in the 1st inning, sat them down 1-2-3 with 3 strikeouts. But for the Dolphins here, Campisi comes to the plate. He walked previously. And the first pitch to him is taken on the outside for a strike. The 0-1 pitch. Outside for a ball.
Campisi with a big block behind the plate in that previous inning. You never know how the approach changes out on the mound if that ball isn't blocked and first base is open.
That pitch to Campisi is taken for a strike, so now 1-2 on him.
I think with a 2-strike count on O'Connor at the time, it wouldn't have changed much, but you certainly wouldn't want to find out, as Campisi has been strong behind the plate for the Dolphins in the 3 games we've covered here on Sportsnet.
That's for sure, and that pitch is taken outside, so Campisi working the count here, and it's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch from Donna to Campisi. Check swing there, but he did not go. Umpire does not ask for help on that, and it is now full count, 3-2.
Big at-bat here for Campisi with the Dolphins' 2 leading hitters on deck in Myers and Castiglione.
Full count there, no more, as he tips that one off for strike 3. The catcher hangs on to that, so nice job there by Sean Lynch. And there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. That's going to bring up the ECC Player of the Week, Jake Myers. Last at bat, Joe, we saw him attempt a bunt, but ultimately ground into a fielder's choice, used his speed, though, to become safe at first. And the first pitch to him is taken high and outside for a ball.
And I think the one thing to look at in those situations where a hitter has to bunt and then try and swing the bat with 2 strikes, that really changes their approach at the plate. It makes it much harder to come through with that big hit.
Myers takes that one, but it's a strike, so it's now 1-1 with 1 out. And the leadoff hitter, Myers, at the plate with the Dolphins ahead 4-3. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, taken outside for a ball, 2-1. Myers awaits the 2-1 pitch, and here it comes. Takes that one as well. And that one is another ball, so it's 3-1 here to Myers.
And that's consecutive 3-ball counts out on the mound for Dona, who is not making it easy on himself either after Esposito labored through the last 3 batters in the previous half inning.
3-1 pitch to Myers is swung on and hit to third baseman. The third baseman, Jemison, able to make the play there. As he almost tricked me there as well as I was looking away engineering, so sorry about that. But unable to play, and we'll see if that goes down as an error as Myers makes his way to first base.
That's a tough scoring. I think that one could have gone either way. It was hit slowly. It was hit down the line, and he had to backhand, so I'm giving that a hit.
I would say the same, especially with Myers' speed. You should never assume a base hit, but when it's a tough play like that, as the first pitch comes in there to Castiglione, and it's a strike, so it's 0-1.
And for a purist who wants to uphold the integrity of scoring, they won't agree with this, but if you're the home team and you're scoring this game for the home team, I think that's a hit every time.
We'll have to check with the official scorer, maybe get some insight with him in between innings to see his mindset there, his thought process. The 0-1 pitch to Castiglione. Fouled off towards the Dolphins dugout.
Looked like Myers had a nice running start on that last pitch. I'm not sure if he went on the pitch, but as soon as Castiglione made contact, he took off for second. That's if he wasn't running, because he was about halfway down the line.
Castiglione steps out for a timeout there. Dolphins bench getting fired up, Joe.
They sure are.
The 0-2 pitch is popped up super duper high. The first baseman coming over, a nice catch there by DiGiario. But that ball was hit a mile high in the air.
Those plays are plays you cannot take for granted here at the College of Staten Island. We've seen it so many times. The ball hit a mile high on the infield, behind the plate in foul territory, wherever it may be, and the wind takes whoever it is trying to catch that ball on an adventure they didn't expect.
Absolutely, and sometimes just like a G6, that thing can make a quick turn and fly all over the place as Martin steps to the plate here. Takes the first pitch outside for a ball.
Martin's been known to run the bases like a G6, as we've heard in the past.
Absolutely. If he finds a gap, he's definitely going for extra bases. So the first pitch is a ball. So 1-0 here with 2 outs, and Myers on first base for the Dolphins. And that pitch is taken outside as well. So both teams right now, Joe, doing a good job of working up the pitch count.
They are, and Martin is not a hitter that you want to fall behind 2-0. He can do a lot of damage with one big swing.
Donna is set. The pitch to Martin. Taken upstairs for a ball 3-0. Joe, what do you think here? Is the green light on or is it the red light?
With 2 outs, I think you give him the green light on a perfect pitch.
Takes it there, ball 4. So nice job by Martin to draw the 4-pitch walk. And he makes his way down to first base.
And the reason I say that is because an extra base hit likely scores Myers. Now a base hit almost definitely scores him. But Ulaj certainly a candidate to cash in a runner in scoring position, and he has that opportunity right here.
Ulaj steps to the plate. What I would say is 4 straight balls he should be taking here on the first pitch. But he's swinging away, and that ball is hit super high. Coming in is the right fielder, Guerra, and making the catch. Nice job there by him taming the win. So 2 runners on, but nobody scores. And we head to the 5th inning. Dolphins still ahead here, 4-3.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
And we are back here at the College of Staten Island. Nick Durst along with Joe Foreman, the voice of all things CSI Dolphins. Good game here, Joe, today. 4-3. Esposito heading back to the mound. Aaron Donna did a good job of working around some trouble there in the bottom of the fourth.
He did. The Dolphins had 2 on with 2 outs, but you said it. You expected Ulaj to perhaps be taking on the first pitch after missing, or Dona missed with 4 straight, and Ulaj did not take. He attacked on the first pitch and hit one a mile high into shallow right field. And I noticed while that ball was in the air, it looked like a thick layer of fog consumed it on the way up. Now, taking a look out the window right in front of me, it doesn't seem like there's too much fog at a low level, but when that ball was in the air, I can assure you that it got caught and tangled up in some fog. So, interesting to note moving forward, as the field conditions have also played a major role in this game. We saw it on that ball hit to third in the previous half inning, and going down was Jameson over at third. It did not make the play. It was still ruled a hit for the Dolphins, rightfully so, but the field conditions and fog, something to keep in mind moving forward.
Absolutely, and second baseman Matthew Johnson there was so relieved that Guerra called him off because he did not have a good read on that one going back, and that's basic fundamentals, though. When the infielder's going back and the outfielder's coming in, the outfielder should always call off the infielder. And Andrew Jameson, as we mentioned, had that rough play at third. It steps to the plate right now to get the inning started. And then, the first pitch is taken low, and it's 1-0.
You mentioned Esposito has had his way with the top of the Spartans lineup, and Jameson is 0 for 2 in this game.
The 1-0 pitch taken inside for a ball, so 2-0 here. And once again, Esposito, who was on cruise control before, has now been working from behind quite a bit. The 2-0 pitch here to Jameson. Popped up foul, and that is headed for the parking lot. Hopefully nobody parked there in the front row. So to finish your story for earlier, Joe, did you find out whose car it was that got the windshield cracked?
I did not. We surveyed the parking lot from the top of the steps to our right. Could not find out which car was the unlucky one.
That ball is hit into center field. Castiglione coming over, makes the catch, and 1 away.
Much like the previous inning, Esposito records the first out quickly, and he will look to make it 0 for 9 for the top 3 hitters in this Spartans lineup if he can get Matthew Johnson here.
Well, Jameson there just happy to make some contact as Esposito has dominated this top of the order with strikeouts so far today. First pitch is ripped into center field. That one's going to drop in front of Castiglione. So a nice job there, hitting-wise, as Matthew Johnson knocks that one in to center field.
I think I might have jinxed him. As I said, it was 0 for 8 leading into that at bat for Johnson for spots 1 through 3 in the stack lineup. But Johnson comes through there with a base hit. It's a 1-out base runner for the Spartans.
Gregory DiGerio steps to the plate now. Mentioned earlier, but he leads the team in average with 331. He's third in the team with 273 coming into today, and leads the team in runs batted in with 15. Pick off attempt there. Runner is back safely. So Johnson on at first. 1 out here. Dolphins ahead 4-3 at the top of the 5th. First pitch here. Swung on a miss. Strike 1.
Well, if you're a hitter for Stack right now, you can't help out Esposito by chasing pitches down in the dirt like DiGerio did right there.
DiGerio looking to put this in play. And the 0-1 pitch to him is tipped. So 0-2 now. And we'll see if Esposito is able to put the finishing touches on this at-bat. Perhaps he goes with the off-speed pitch here, as we've seen that quite a bit when he's been ahead 0-2.
Well, the last time he got ahead 0-2, he challenged the lefty up and in. We'll see if the approach changes against the right-handed hitter.
Pick off attempt there. Johnson back safely. So Esposito checks Johnson, comes set, delivers the 0-2 pitch, and that is taken high for a ball, so 1-2.
Must have been just high. That was awfully close.
Not too much moaning and groaning there from the Dolphins dugout, though. But definitely borderline. It's another pickoff attempt. And once again, Johnson back safely. Female soccer player is here calling for a replay, Joe, saying run it back.
We had Shendi Ulaj call for a replay in the last game.
That ball gets away from Campese, and Johnson is going to make his way over to second base. So Campese had the great block earlier. This one he's unable to come away with. And now it's 2-2 with a runner on second.
That makes this out even bigger now.
The 2-2 pitch to Giero. Swung on and missed. Strike three, and he struck him out. Big pitch there from Esposito. And we now have 2 outs as the shortstop, Danny DiMarzo, comes to the plate here for St. Thomas Aquinas.
DiMarzo 1 for 2 in the game, has singled and flown out in 2 at-bats.
Comes into the game, the team's leading hitter at .338.
First base is open here.
And that pitch is swung on and cracked into right center field. That one is caught. Unbelievable job there by Gardner to basket catch that one. Fantastic job there, Joe, with the wind. What a catch.
And Gardner had to cover a lot of ground on that last play. He chased that ball deep into the right center field gap, lost the cap in the process, and as you said, Nick, made a very difficult basket catch, and that shows you just how valuable it is to have an outfielder with great range and a great glove. Gardner has both, and that is a tremendous play. Let's see it again.
And we'll take a look here as we head to break, as Gardner is able to go deep towards the fence, basket catch that. Paid off there big time for him being a lefty. And the Dolphins here avoid some trouble with the runner on second, and we will head to the bottom of the inning here with the Dolphins still ahead. 4, 2, 3.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive.
And we are back here at the College of Staten Island as the Dolphins lead 4-3, and Gardner made a fantastic catch in the inning. And of course, Joe, naturally, he leads off here. First pitch taken low and inside for a ball.
I think it's fair to say right now that if we had to choose an MVP for the Dolphins in this game, it would be Gardner.
Absolutely, as he rips that one to first base, but that is no problem there for DiGiero as he steps on first and went away. But Gardner with the game-saving catch there at this point, and he had the big hit earlier in the game to put the Dolphins ahead early. Dolphins here still clinging up to that 4-3 lead as Kalika will step to the plate. And right now, it has turned into a pitcher's duel as the last 5 half innings have been scoreless. First pitch to Kalika is taken for a ball. That one there, Joe, is a situation where if Lynch catches that, the umpire most likely calls it a strike, but unable to handle that, and it'll be ball one.
You read my mind because I was thinking that pitch was awfully close, but once it was dropped, there was no chance that Dona would get the call.
Kalika waits for the 1-0 pitch and takes that one, and that is a strike. So 1-1 here to Kalika.
A strike in a very similar spot.
We'll see if Donna continues to pound the inside corner here. Looks like catcher set up outside, and that one is swung on and hit into left field for a base hit. Kalika showing off the opposite field swing there, and he is aboard here with a single.
Good hitting there by Kalika. Drove that ball right where it was pitched on the outer half and took it the other way into left field. The Dolphins, with another one-out base runner, will have Nick Cipoletti coming to the plate.
Cipoletti stepping in here. He's been overmatched so far today. 2 at-bats and 2 strikeouts. First pitch to Cipoletti is upstairs for ball 1.
We've seen Cipoletti uncharacteristically chasing out of the strike zone a bit in this game, and that's accounted for those 2 strikeouts. Needs to make sure he doesn't do the pitcher any favors in this at-bat.
Takes that pitch on the outside corner for a strike. So 1-1 with 1 out here and 1 runner on first. And Kalika, Dolphins ahead 4-3 in the bottom of the 5th. 1-1 pitch. Tipped. Foul. So that'll be a strike. And it'll be 1-2.
That pitch was well out of the zone once again, and Cipoletti got caught chasing. Barely got a piece as that one was almost down in the dirt.
So Cipoletti awaits the 1-2 pitch. Takes that one low. Evens the count up at 2-2. So there is a runner on first. Looks like right now our graphics system is not working, but there is a runner on first. So we'll keep you posted on that. See if we can fix that. But the 2-2 pitch is taken there. That was close, but it is a ball. And we got that issue taken care of there thanks to Joe Foreman, as the full count is right there on the outside corner for strike 3. So the hat trick here for Cipoletti, his 3rd strikeout of the day.
Big strikeout on the mound for Aaron Dona, as that keeps the runner over at first. And that last pitch was a pivotal one with the full count on Cipoletti, and it's left to Brian Burkhead with 2 away.
Burkhead steps in 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored here today. Takes the first pitch for a ball. And we'll work on that issue again, as it now shows no runner on base, but Kalika is on first base. The 1-0 pitch is hit towards the second baseman. Throws it over to first, and it's in time. So nice job there by Johnson, throwing to DiGiero. And once again, Donna works around trouble here. Dolphins still ahead 4-3 as we head to the top of the 6th inning.
Car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447.
And we are back here at the College of Staten Island as Dolphins are ahead 4-3. Nice job there, Joe. Not just last inning, but the last 2 innings by Aaron Dona to work around trouble.
6 straight zeros in each of the last 3 innings between these 2 pitchers. So after you and I proclaimed that we might have a slugfest on our hands, we've seen 6 straight zeros. So it shows how much we know. But both pitchers have really stepped up their game since the first 2 innings, have really appeared to settle in out on the mound. And for John Esposito, it's been a very strong start for him, despite having some tough innings along the way. Esposito has racked up the strikeouts in this game. His strikeout total up at 9, issued 2 walks. Both of those came in the same inning. He was able to work around those. Both pitchers have surrendered 5 base hits, but as we enter the 6th inning, the Dolphins still clinging to a 1-run lead, and Esposito looks to keep that lead for CSI.
Esposito here looking for his 10th strikeout, which would be a very dominant performance. We'll see how much longer, though, he's able to go here with the pitch count. The most innings he's thrown so far this year is 6.
I have Esposito at 82 pitches. In his last start here at home, he was pulled after an even 100. So optimistically, you might be able to squeeze 2 more innings out of him. But with no action in the Dolphins' bullpen, perhaps CSI is eyeing more than that.
So Esposito ready to deliver the first pitch to Andrew Guerra. And that's taken for a ball. So 1-0 here. So 5 hits apiece here. 2 errors for the Dolphins, 1 for the Spartans. The 1-0 pitch is fouled off to the left side. And the count will be 1-1.
Guerra 0 for 2 in the game, has flown out and struck out in 2 at-bats.
Guerra takes that pitch there, outside, 2-1. So the 2-1 pitch here from Esposito. It's taken high, so 3-1. And Esposito now approaching 90 pitches.
Still no action in the Dolphins' bullpen. I'm not sure if they had anybody warming up earlier.
That pitch is swung on and hit down the left field line. Fair ball. As Guerra will speed into second. Burkett picks it up, throws it into Cipoletti, and Guerra will stay there. So a leadoff double there by Guerra going the opposite way down the left field line.
Dolphins outfield was shaded to the right there, and that certainly hurt them on that play. They were fortunate that didn't turn into a triple, as that ball landed just inside the chalk, deep in the left field corner, and into second base. Standing with the leadoff double is Guerra. And that puts the Spartans in business as Sean Lynch comes to the plate.
Nice job by whoever painted the lines today. I was able to very clearly see that on the left field line. As the pitch to Lynch is swung on and hit foul. And as you know, Joe, sometimes it gets very tough for us to see down the left and right field line here from our vantage point behind the plate.
It definitely does, and it won't get any easier as it gets darker outside, though it looks like we are going to beat sunset moving at this pace. We'll see, but as you mentioned, Nick, we can clearly see the lines right now.
Esposito ready to deliver the 0-1 pitch. And that is taken for a strike. So 2 strikes here. It looks like the lights are starting to come on here, Joe, at the CSI Baseball Complex. And the 0-2 pitch here from Esposito as he checks on the runner is swung on a miss, strike 3. He struck him out. Lynch heads back to the bench. So big strikeout there by Esposito, and that's going to be his 10th strikeout of the game.
For Lynch, that's the second time he's been set down on strikes, and that's a big first out for John Esposito, and the Dolphins' first base is still open. The tying run in scoring position as Kyle LaGruda comes to the plate.
Runner on second, and the first pitch is swung and missed. So strike 1 here on LaGruda.
And that off-speed pitch and the breaking ball from Esposito early in the count has had these hitters way out in front. When he's thrown that pitch for a strike, the Spartans haven't been able to touch it.
The 0-1 pitch is hit over to second, and an easy catch there by Myers. 2 away. Right now, Joe, the sky's very weird. Towards the outfield, it's very dark, but here to us, towards home plate and third base and first base, it's very sunny.
Well, I was about to say, it's gotten noticeably brighter. You did mention the lights have begun to turn on here at the CSI Baseball Complex, but the sun's shining brightly at the moment.
First pitch there to Conti. Taken for a strike. That pitch is taken outside, 1-1. So we do apologize if you heard any background noise. There's a very loud discussion going on right to our right. Two people apparently in amazement at the great facility here as Esposito's 1-1 pitch is taken outside for a ball, 2-1.
Can't say I blame them, though. I would appreciate it if they took the conversation just outside a few steps. It's not too cold yet.
Absolutely. We got somebody warming up in the bullpen here, Joe. I believe it's number 1, so it should be Ryan. And Esposito gets ready for the 2-1 pitch. And that one is ripped into the right field. And the runner is going to come home. That throw is cut off by Kalika. So runner comes around to score there as the Spartans tie this one up. 4-4. Nice piece of hitting there by Conti.
Well, that at-bat could be a turning point in this game as the Spartans have had a couple of opportunities to get even or take the lead throughout this game. And right there, after they got a runner over to second base in scoring position with nobody out, 2 outs recorded by Esposito. He could not pick up the third as Conti comes through with the clutch 2-out RBI base hit and drives in the tying run to even up the score at 4. And now, if Esposito doesn't come back out for the next inning, he may be out of line for a victory.
That pitch is swung on and hit foul towards right field. And we have a pinch hitter here as CJ Cumbo comes to the plate. So Cumbo in for O'Connor, who struck out his first 3 appearances against Esposito.
That's a good catch, Nick, because I did not hear a pinch hitter announced.
That pitch is tipped off, so it's now 0-2, and apologies again as our bases board is not working. It'll temporarily go on, and then it'll turn off. So for now, we'll just hide that to avoid any confusion. But runner on first base here as the Dolphins and the Spartans are tied here 4-4 in the top of the 6th. So the 0-2 pitch here is taken high for a ball. 1-2 now to CJ Cumbo. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3, and he struck him out. However, the Spartans are able to strike in this inning as they tie it up here 4-4. Tie game here as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Right here on the College of Staten Island.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back here on the College of Staten Island as the Dolphins and Spartans are tied here 4-4 in the bottom of the sixth, and Nick Campisi's going to come to the plate here to lead things off here for the Dolphins. So, Joe, obviously, the last few innings, we've seen some pretty solid pitching. Esposito there does get up the run, and that potentially could be the end of the line for him here today. We'll see next inning, but Aaron Dona going back to the hill. He's getting up 5 hits. He's getting up 4 runs. He's walked 5 and struck out 5. So, what do they call it? The old triple nickel game that Michael Jordan perfected. As that first pitch is swung on and popped up to the second baseman, Johnson was able to easily catch that one away.
Well, if that is it for John Esposito, the Dolphins need to get him a run here.
Yeah, I see him walking to the clubhouse right now, so I would assume that's it for him.
I think that's a safe bet. If he's headed for the clubhouse, he'll probably ice up that arm and shoulder. So if the pitcher warming up in the bullpen is an indication of who's coming into the game, it looks like Kevin Ryan is getting set to pitch in the 7th inning.
Ryan, one of the veterans of this team, as Myers steps to the plate, takes the first pitch outside for a ball.
Myers is 1 for 3, has struck out, hit into a fielder's choice, and singled.
The 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 1. So 1-1 here on the batter with 1 out and a 4-4 game in the bottom of the 6th.
And how much stronger has Aaron Dona looked as this game has progressed? He was really struggling in the first inning and into the second inning as well, but has righted the ship since.
As that pitch is low for a ball, 3 consecutive scoreless innings by him, so he's gotten better with each pitch he's thrown. Sometimes it just takes pitchers a while to warm up, but once they get in the groove of things, they're able to cruise. The 2-1 pitch here to Myers, taken for a ball. 3-1. The 3-1 pitch. Ripped into left field for a base hit. Myers, we'll see if he makes a turn. Wasn't running hard out the box, but the left fielder there for the Spartans, Conti, did fall on that one. So if Myers was running out of the box, perhaps he's standing on second, but he's on at first.
The condition of the outfield is wreaking havoc in this game right now, as we've seen the left fielder for both teams go down in this game. We've seen some very awkward hops on the infield as well. Some of those handled, some of those not handled cleanly. So definitely something to continue keeping an eye on as this game moves into the late innings.
Castiglione at the plate takes the first pitch for a ball. Castiglione 1 for 3 today with an RBI.
We haven't seen either team active on the base paths in this game. Not typical of the games we've covered these last 2 seasons.
The 1-0 pitch is hit over to third, thrown to second, over to first, and it's a 5-4-3 double play. So nice job there by Jamison, Johnson, and DiGiero, and that will keep the score the same here, 4-4. When we return, Joe Foreman takes you the rest of the way on play-by-play.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins and Spartans are tied at 4 as we begin the 7th inning from the College of Staten Island. As we suspected, Kevin Ryan is the new pitcher for the College of Staten Island. And as Nick mentioned, Ryan is one of the veterans on this Dolphins team, one of about 4 or 5 Dolphins who have been on this team for at least 3 seasons. Another was today's starting pitcher, John Esposito. For Kevin Ryan on the season, he has pitched to an ERA of 12.38, or I do have to double check once again. I do apologize. We don't have many column headers, but I'll have to take a look at the stacks of paper I have here, and it is indeed a 12.38 ERA for Ryan. His whip is 3.25. His record is no wins and 2 losses. He has appeared in 3 games. All of those games starts. In 8 innings, he's allowed 19 hits, 13 runs, 11 of those earned. He has walked 7 and struck out 11 while allowing 6 extra base hits. Opposing hitters against Ryan hitting at .452 in 42 plate appearances. So Ryan has really struggled so far this season. Not something we're accustomed to seeing from the Dolphins left-hander. He pitched fairly well last year during a season where many of the Dolphins pitchers really struggled out on the mound. The Dolphins gave up a lot of runs, did not play well in the field, and from what we've seen so far here at home this year, they have really cleaned that up. The pitching has been strong, and the defense has also been solid for the College of Staten Island, and they will need that to continue through these final 3 innings if they're going to snap a 3-game losing streak against the stacked Spartans team. The first pitch of the inning misses up and away for ball 1.
On paper, Joe, many would say that the Spartans are well ahead in the talent resources as they've been in D2 much longer, but these are 2 very evenly matched teams.
That one's hit out to straightaway right. Gardner settles underneath it and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. That will bring Matthew Johnson to the plate.
St. Thomas Aquinas came into today with a record of 6-12, but most of those games, especially the losses, are played out of conference, and a lot of these games that they lost were played in Florida and North Carolina, so they're really just starting to get into conference play.
This is the first conference game for both teams here this afternoon, and for the Dolphins, they lost all 3 games against Stack last year, and prior to that, had won 4 out of 5. That game they did not win was a tie. That being said, the last meeting prior to the 2021 season came all the way back in the year 2000.
Crazy. That's 22 years ago.
Don't remind me. As Matthew Johnson fouls away that 1-0 pitch to even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Johnson 1 for 3 at the plate in this game against John Esposito. Struck out, grounded out, and singled. And the 1-1 is blocked by Campisi. Arundona completed the last inning with 105 pitches, so I think it's safe to assume his day is done.
Certainly think so with that pitch count. You don't even see players in the majors allowed to throw that many pitches anymore.
Two and 1 the count on Johnson. And Ryan's pitch sails up and away for ball 3, so Ryan behind in the count, 3-1. And the cleanup hitter, Gregory DiGiaro, is on deck. Comes the 3-1. And that is nowhere close as that sails into the opposite batter's box for ball 4.
We'll see if Ryan's able to get his footing here. Joe, how do you feel about, and maybe it's a rule that they have to, but a relief pitcher coming in with short sleeves on a bit of a nippy night?
I think it's all a comfort issue. If he's comfortable in the short sleeves, and I have no issue with it, I personally would not be comfortable pitching in the evening here at CSI in short sleeves, but that's just me. I'm very sensitive to the cold, as
Me too.
the first pitch to DiGiaro is in for a called strike one.
Well, the good thing right now is it's not overly windy, and there is a bit of sunlight.
It'll be interesting to see if this game is completed under the sunlight. I would say they have about maybe another hour and a half tops.
I think so.
Before the sun begins to set over the College of Staten Island. And with 3 innings to go, an hour and a half is a lot of time.
And we've experienced some really cold, brutal winter nights here at this baseball complex over the years. Game that always comes to mind for me was you and the great Mike Babeska on the call for the doubleheader against Yeshiva a few years ago.
That was a long night. That was a long night in, I believe, late March, early April.
2019 now, I believe.
That is correct. I'll never forget, I was in the middle of calling that game, and the pitchers were really struggling with their command. A lot of pitches not remotely close to the zone, and I was sent the gif of 50 Cent throwing out the first pitch at the Mets game, and I barely kept it together.
One of the all-time first pitches.
No doubt about that, as the 2-1 from Ryan misses off the outside corner for ball 3. So Ryan now in danger of issuing back-to-back walks.
I think the Dolphins should look to get some people to throw out some first pitches here moving forward. So many great Staten Islanders that we can bring in.
That tradition, one that was normally upheld annually at the Grace Hillary Breast Cancer Awareness Game, as DiGiaro swings through that 3-1 pitch to run the count full.
We know for sure, well, my guess would be that game this year, that's when the Dolphins will break out their pink jerseys again.
I would suspect, I don't believe that the event is planned for this year, but I would suspect we see it brought back next year.
Yeah, very difficult these days to organize these large events here on the campus, but the sports...
That's chopped over to short. Cipoletti steps on second, throws over to first, and that throw is in time. Nicely done by Nick Cipoletti at short, and the Dolphins put up another 0 as Kevin Ryan works around a walk, and we head to the bottom half of the 7th, even at 4.
Car is damaged. Where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447.
Now pitching for the Spartans, number 0, Yanni Orfanides.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. New pitcher for St. Thomas Aquinas, Yanni Orfanides, comes into the game out of the stacked bullpen, and he will take over on the mound for Aaron Dona, who pitches 6 innings and allows 4 runs on 6 base hits. Not a bad outing considering that Dona allowed 4 runs in the first 2 innings. And I said it before, Nick, he really settled down after the first 6 outs.
Yeah, nice job by him there to blank the Dolphins the last 4 innings. Pitcher coming in now, very interested to see how he does. Or as Orfanides is a side-on submariner, so that's going to be really confusing here for the Dolphins. You mentioned earlier for the Dolphins to go ahead and check Dolphins fans to check social media to give us some comments on what they thought of the uniform color combination here. And the only one of note here is from Swaggy Defense, and his comment was 2 dolphin emojis followed by a fire emoji. So my guess is he liked it, Joe.
I think fire indicates approval. So that's 2 for and 2 against the blue pants. I personally don't mind them. I like the blue pants. I do agree that white or gray would work as well, but I don't have a problem with the blue. Now, I think if I'm going by my taste, the team would be best served wearing white cleats with these blue pants. You bookend the blue pants with white cleats and a white jersey. They're going with the blue cleats.
Well, it's an interesting point there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the blue cleats really go.
I would prefer white personally, but...
How about some, Crocs? See those quite often.
That's more of a softball trend. I was gifted a pair of Crocs for my birthday by CSI Softball a couple of years ago.
Interesting. We do see a lot of the student athletes walking around in Crocs.
I can't argue with the comfort as Thomas Martin takes that pitch off the inside corner for ball one.
I believe Ryan's day is done. I see some action on the bullpen. Ryan put on his jacket. Perhaps Ryan will start one of the games tomorrow.
Possible. As Martin skies one a mile high on the infield, waiting for it is Jameson, and he makes the catch for the first out.
That one was hit very high in there. We're seeing a lot of balls going extremely high on the pop-ups today.
Well, I can tell you that there won't be another ball lost in the fog today, as it has really cleared up over the College of Staten Island during the last hour or so. Shendi Ulaj is the batter, and he hits one well out to deep left field. Chasing it back is Conti. He heads toward the wall, and that's off the fence. Ulaj heads for second, and he is in standing with a one-out double.
Great job of hitting there by Ulaj. Barely misses a home run, and now he is going to be 2 for 3 on the day, along with a walk. Really solid afternoon here for Ulaj.
That is as close as it gets. That ball hit about halfway up the left field fence, and Ulaj only missed a home run by a couple of feet. However, Pat Gardner, who has a big RBI hit from back in the first inning, comes to the plate with a chance to give CSI the lead for the second time.
Gardner had that big 2 RBI hit earlier as he takes the first pitch outside for a ball.
Gardner 1 for 3 in the game. Doubled home a pair back in the first, reached on an error, and grounded out. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, and that's not close for ball 2. So with first base open, perhaps Orfanides will work carefully around Gardner, but that brings up another left-hander in Stephen Kalika. Not much relief in the on-deck circle. And Gardner fouls the 2-0 pitch straight back.
Well, Joe, it's very nice to see all this sunlight at 5:30 p.m. because it's always rough in the winter when it's dark at 4 o'clock. I mean, how many Saturdays did we spend coming in here for basketball 10 o'clock in the morning, getting out at 4 p.m., and it's pitch black out.
Pitch black and freezing. As the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gardner. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And Gardner just got a piece. Big out here for Orfanides to get. If he puts Gardner on, it does open up the force at third and at second. But another dangerous hitter looms in the on-deck circle in Stephen Kalika. And that's hit well into the right center field gap, and that will roll all the way to the wall. Gardner takes the turn and heads for second as he loses the helmet. Ulaj can trot home with the go-ahead run, and the Dolphins take a 5-4 lead.
Have a day, Gardner. I mean, this guy is raking right now, Joe. 3 RBIs, 2 doubles. Absolutely tremendous job of hitting by him today. As we will take a look here at that big double there, which ended up bringing the runner home and giving the Dolphins the lead.
The Dolphins have been all over Yanni Orfanides, and his day could be done here as we get another look at that double by Gardner. That was a rope into the right center field gap. He hit that ball very well, and there was no chance out there for Guerra or O'Connor to cut it off, and Ulaj came in to score easily. Now, there is action in that right field bullpen. Tough to get a look at the number from here, but once we can confirm who's throwing out there, we'll pass that information along to you. This is quite the lengthy conference out on the mound right now as the home plate umpire makes his way out to the rubber to break it up.
So Dolphins here take the lead, and Kalik is going to come to the plate. And a single here could put the Dolphins ahead by 2. And as we've seen so far today, every run matters. So Joe's going to go to the binoculars here to see who's warming up in the bullpen.
Still waiting to get a look at the numbers, and I'll have to wait a bit longer as Stephen Kalika offers at the first pitch and comes up empty for strike 1. Kalika's 1 for 3 in the game. Has grounded out, lined out, and singled in 3 plate appearances. And Kalika hits one well out to deep right field. It turns around Guerra. It's over his head and rolls to the base of the fence. Being waved home is Gardner. He will score the 6th Dolphins run. It's an RBI double for Stephen Kalika, and the Dolphins lead it 6-4.
Back-to-back doubles for the Dolphins, as we will get another look here at that one, which drives in another run and puts the Dolphins ahead by 2.
And without hesitation, the Spartans will make a pitching change as the Dolphins were all over Yanni Orfanides. They tag him for 2 runs, and CSI takes the 6-4 lead. When we come back, we'll have the pitching change for you and the rest of this bottom half of the 7th inning.
You Know 'Em Right is the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, entertainment, and pop culture. On the show, hosts Nick and Joe walk guests through the retelling of their humble beginnings, covering an array of topics from specific interests and hobbies to personal opinions regarding each facet of their industry. You Know 'Em Right offers insight on how to adapt and advance, and offers alternative advice as opposed to a one-size-fits-all strategy. Above all else, the number one goal of You Know 'Em Right is to offer listeners an exclusive behind-the-scenes vantage point not found anywhere else through its increasing list of professional connections. With a following that continues to grow daily, You Know 'Em Right is transforming into a must-listen podcast in the right place at the right time. Find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You do not want to miss an episode of You Know 'Em.
New pitcher into the game for St. Thomas Aquinas. It will be number 99, Orrin Winslow, coming on out of the stacked bullpen. And for Winslow, this will be his 8th appearance of the season. In 7 1/3 innings thus far, he's allowed 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those earned. He has walked 7 and struck out 9. His strikeouts per 9 up over 11 in a limited sample size. He has pitched to a 4.91 ERA, and he will be tasked with stranding a runner in scoring position as the Dolphins look for some more insurance here in the bottom half of the 7th. This game was tied at 4 entering the 6th. Stack finally able to get even in the top half of inning number 6, but the Dolphins respond here in the bottom half of the 7th with 2 runs thus far and a chance for more. As Stephen Kalika stands over at second, Nick Cipoletti will be the batter.
Orrin Winslow, just a dominating presence.
His first pitch to Cipoletti misses inside for ball 1. Winslow, a 6'4", 220-pound right-hander. And he misses upstairs with that pitch for ball 2. Cipolletti has struck out 3 times in this game and has looked a bit off balance doing so, has chased some bad pitches. Hitters count here ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. And Cipolletti takes a called strike 1.
Cipolletti with 3 strikeouts today certainly wants to avoid the golden sombrero here.
I didn't want to say it, and you had no problem.
Reverse jinx, perhaps?
And that won't be it, as that's hit well out to deep left field, down the line, and that is gone! Nick Cipolletti tucks one inside of the left field foul pole, and that is a 2-run homer. And the Dolphins now lead it by 4. Our score now, Staten Island 8 and Stack 4.
Sip, sip, hooray!
Hooray!
Cipolletti, now he's having a good day with the big home run there, and the Dolphins now ahead, 8-4.
The reverse jinx is alive and well, Nick. You called it. Cipolletti was facing a potential golden sombrero. Instead, he connects on a 2-run shot just inside of the left field foul pole, and the Dolphins now lead it by 4 runs as they have attacked the Stack bullpen. No answer in sight for the Spartans.
Well, the reverse jinx worked, Joe, and we got to say one of the best lines of commentary, sip, sip, hooray. So great job by Cipolletti here today.
0-1 the count on Brian Burkhead, who takes low for ball 1. Burkhead officially 0 for 2 in the game. Has walked, flew out, and grounded out. Comes the 1-1. That's popped up on the infield. Jamison moving to his left, nearly collided with DeMarzo, but Jamison holds on for the second out.
Now batting the catcher number 5, Nick Campisi.
That will bring Nick Campisi to the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a walk, a strikeout, and a flyout. And he takes a knee-high strike.
We got a lot of action going on in the bullpen for the Dolphins, so we'll see if Ryan's day is in fact done.
And the 0-1 misses high. We'll pull out the binoculars once again and get a look at who that is warming up
My
for the
blind
Dolphins.
eye, so either like a 9 or a 19 or something maybe. Hard to tell. As that pitch is swung on and missed.
That is indeed number 9 in the Dolphins bullpen. I'll have to pull up a roster for that. I think you'll beat me to it, Nick.
Number 9 is Liam Harding, who so far this season hasn't been that great. 24.92 ERA, 0-1 in 4 appearances, but only 4 innings pitched, so bit of balloon ERA there. And he's getting up 5 hits and 12 earned runs this season.
Well, I should have known that number 9 was Harding because he did close out the Dolphins' win in Game 1 of last week's doubleheader against Bloomfield. So I should have known that. He pitched very well in that game. Put up a quick 1-2-3 inning.
Right. Like I said, when you only pitch 4 innings, the ERA could be deceiving because one bad outing is going to blow it up.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins catcher. Campisi looks to keep the inning going, and he looks at a called strike 3. So Campisi goes down on strikes, but not before the Dolphins score 4 runs in the inning. Another big RBI hit for Pat Gardner, but the biggest blow, a 2-run shot off the bat of Nick Cipolletti just inside of the left field foul pole, and the Dolphins lead it 8-4.
champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins now lead this game by 4. Our score 8-4, heading into the top half of inning number 8. And for the Dolphins, they have really reversed a trend that had developed through the first 2 home games, really struggling to hit with men on base. That has not been the case here today. They came through with a big bases-loaded double. That was Pat Gardner driving home a pair back in the first. Gardner drove home another run in that previous half inning, and the big blow belonged to Nick Cipolletti, a 2-run shot just inside of the foul pole, put the Dolphins ahead by 4.
Cipolletti with the ultimate, turn that frown upside down. 3 strikeouts in a row, forgotten. Nobody cares about that anymore. 2-run homer right there, 2 RBIs on that day. Gardner, a fantastic day as well. 2 doubles, 3 RBIs. Castiglione has a double and an RBI. Kalika has a double and an RBI. Overall, just some really quality hitting, some clutch hitting as well for the Dolphins.
A lot of work to do for the Spartans and only 6 outs to play with in this game, as the Dolphins looking for their first win over Stack since 2000. And that ball's hit well down the left field line toward the corner. Burkhead gives chase, and he watches that sail over the left field wall. Danny DiMarzo with a solo home run on the first pitch thrown by Liam Harding, and the Dolphins' lead is back down to 3. Our score is 8-5.
DiMarzo unloaded on that one, cranked it out to left field, comes around to score. Huge home run there for the Spartans, and we will take another look at that one in just a moment here, as we have a quick second, after this at bat.
The first pitch to Andrew Guerra is ripped into right center. Gardner is there to cut it off. He plays it on a bounce. 2 swings, a home run, and a single for the Spartans, as they are now 1 batter away from bringing the tying run to the plate.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that home run here once again. I mean, that was just a bomb to left field. We don't have any markers here on the fences, but that one traveled quite the distance. And the Spartans are cooking here, that's for sure.
We don't have a stat cast on that baseball, Nick? Can't track it over the wall?
I'm going to check with Lewis next time he can use his measuring tool on his iPhone on that. But look like we're going to get some action in the bullpen. Looks like number 16 about to warm up for the Dolphins. And number 16 is Ryan Kehoe, who has 1 complete game this season. So we'll see him in relief here. It's going to be his 5th appearance of the season. He has 5 appearances so far this season with 3 starts.
If I'm not mistaken, that complete game came in his last outing where he picked up his first collegiate win. I know you can double-check that for me as you have access to a computer with internet.
7-inning game, so a doubleheader. And he had 1 run. Pretty solid outing. 2 strikeouts, and the key there was no walks.
Well, that will keep the pitch count down, and as a pitcher, if you keep the pitch count low in a 7-inning game, you will always have the opportunity to go the distance, especially if you're only allowing 1 run.
Especially in those doubleheaders. 7 innings, you want to try to have your starter go as long as possible.
2-0 the count on the Spartans catcher, and the Dolphins in a very precarious spot already here. Spartans have gotten a couple of really good swings against Liam Harding. He has to face at least 3 batters. Lynch is the third. Kyle LaGruda stands on deck.
The old 3-batter minimum rule, just like in the majors.
Not a fan of that rule either.
No more lefty specialists. Those are a thing of the past. A lot of pickoff attempts here, and no success so far today for the Dolphins.
3-0 the count on Lynch. And Harding catches the inside corner.
What's difficult with the pickoff attempts at this level is it's only a 2-man umpiring crew. So the A slot is where usually the first base umpire, we'll call it, would stand. They usually have the best view on that, but when you're in the B slot where the umpire is right now, it's hard to see that tag.
And that 3-1 pitch misses inside for ball 4. So Harding comes into the game, gives up a home run, a hard-hit single, and a walk. And just like that, Stack brings the tying run to the plate with nobody out.
LaGruda has a hit and RBI so far today. So definitely a dangerous hitter for sure.
LaGruda, the 8th place hitter for Stack, and he calls for time. The top of this Spartans lineup will likely be very happy to see a new pitcher, as John Esposito did a great job shutting down the top third of the Spartans lineup throughout this game.
How big is that Cipoletti home run now, Joe?
Huge. It's the difference between the tying run, scoring position over at second with nobody out, or the tying run at the plate. And the Spartans in their dugout getting a bit frustrated here now. We'll see if this draws a mound visit from the Dolphins' dugout. And it does not appear so, but Campese and Harding right now
having a hard time getting on the same page.
Sure looks that way. We're still awaiting the first pitch of the at-bat to LaGruda. And the home plate umpire will step out, and I'm not sure why.
Perhaps LaGruda called for a timeout.
Maybe. Mind games, perhaps?
Could be.
Here comes the first pitch, and LaGruda is showing bunt.
I don't know about that, Joe, when you're down 3.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if he was showing bunt with the intention of laying one down, I hate that. I hate that call if he's up here to bunt.
Certainly not the foreign formula to success at this point in the game.
No. He's looking to bunt, and that's bunted foul. Now, if you were down 2 runs here, I agree. Down 3, I can't get behind this call.
Yeah, I guess you want to get over to the top of the order, but the top of the order right now has Cumbo in there, who was the pinch hitter earlier before. Conti on deck had the big hit before with the RBI, but again, you're giving up an out to get 2 runners in scoring position when you need 3 runners in scoring position, so it doesn't make much sense.
That's the reason I don't like it. If you're down 2 runs, I can get behind it, not 3. But that's a show of confidence in your team's ability to score in the 9th inning. That's how I see it.
Absolutely. Well, let's see now here if the bunt is staying on with 2 strikes.
The scoreboard reads 2-1. Did they say he offered at that pitch? Because if not, it's 2-1. Here comes the pitch from Harding, and that's bunted foul. So the count on the scoreboard was correct at 2 balls and 2 strikes. This may work out well for the Spartans, who can now give LaGruda the chance to swing the bat, which I think was the right play from the beginning. Here comes the 2-2, and Harding will check on second base. And I think, to be honest with you, Nick, I'm just out of the loop because this play, bunting here, seems to be the universally accepted play by just about every head coach we've seen coach a game here the last 2 years.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, no need to bunt now as Harding sails one about 5 feet high and to the backstop. So the Spartans get their 2 runners in scoring position. The count is now full on LaGruda, and a walk here loads the bases with nobody out.
What do you think, Joe? Suicide squeeze here?
I might put the headset down and walk out of the complex if they attempted a suicide squeeze. The count is full on LaGruda. Harding delivers the payoff pitch, and that is fouled away yet again.
I would assume this is probably Harding's last batter.
Definitely a possibility. He's thrown 13 pitches, 7 of those out of the strike zone. You mentioned Kehoe, warm in the Dolphins bullpen. He's been throwing for quite some time now. Should be ready. Here comes another 3-2 pitch. And that's hit softly right back to the mound. Harding handles it and throws out LaGruda for a huge first out.
Harding jammed LaGruda there on the inside there of the bat. All he was able to do is roll it over right back to Harding. Big out there for Harding. Now, Joe, I have to ask you here with 1 out, do you consider loading the bases here to have the force all over?
No. I don't think you can walk the tying run onto base, especially out of the 9th place slot in the order.
Well, yeah. Conti has done some damage so far today. He does have an RBI and 2 walks.
I think you can afford to pitch carefully. You cannot afford to walk this hitter intentionally.
The only reason I ask is because on deck, it's not O'Connor, their usual regular leadoff hitter. It's Cumbo, who came in earlier. So we'll see. I guess you go right at him here and hope to get the out.
A walk isn't a catastrophic mistake here, but I would not issue it intentionally as that swung on and missed by Conti for strike 1. If this is a video game, I'm walking this batter. This is no video game.
Oh, video game, never walk a batter. Always go for the out. But you play a lot more of this show online than anybody else.
Yeah, I think walking a batter here is a video game play. Real life, you can't walk the tying run onto base as that catches the inside corner for a called strike 2. So Harding is 1 big pitch away from a huge second out. Spartans need at least a fly ball here. The Dolphins are conceding a run on a ground ball to a middle infielder as well. The corner's only about halfway in, and that sails up high for ball 2. Two balls and 2 strikes the count on the Spartans' left fielder. 2 in scoring position, stacked trailing by 3. Here comes the pitch from Harding. And that breaking ball is in for a called strike 3.
Beautiful job there by Harding to strike the batter out there after the big ground out by LaGruda, and now he's close to getting out of this.
If Harding can limit the damage to just a single run in this half inning, that would be a huge victory for him and the Dolphins, as things looked very precarious just a couple of minutes ago.
I have to assume, though, that Kehoe is going to have to get in this game now that he's very warmed up. He's probably thrown 50 pitches or so in the bullpen. So we'll likely see him at the minimum to close this out in the 9th.
I think that's a very good possibility, though there is also the possibility he's getting some work in before a start tomorrow. You did mention that Kevin Ryan throwing just 1 inning in this game could also be in line for a start tomorrow. Pat Gardner is another starting pitching option for the Dolphins. Also, for those who will be tuning in tomorrow or attending the games on the road, those games have been moved back. As of the last time I checked, first pitch for Game 1 was at 4 p.m., Game 2 at approximately 7 p.m. Be sure to check out csidolphins.com for any changes to the start time for tomorrow's games. But it looks like 4 and 7 will be the start times for tomorrow. 1-1 the count on C.J. Cumbo, and he takes downstairs for ball 2.
Cumbo came into the game before as a pinch hitter and struck out.
Stack in need of a big hit right here. If they fail to score more than the 1 run, that would be a monumental disappointment for them. Here comes the 2-1, and that's popped up foul.
Oh, boy.
That was loud.
Wonder where that landed on.
Sounded pretty close.
Might have been out on the ledge by our camera.
I think the camera is shielded from a pop-up like that. A line drive could catch it, but a ball at that trajectory could not. As time is called by Cumbo. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on, with number 2, C.J. Cumbo, at the plate. Liam Harding looking for 1 big strike to bring this half inning to a close. And that's tapped on the ground to short. Might not be an easy play for Cipoletti, but he made it look easy as he throws out Cumbo for the 3rd out. Liam Harding gives up a solo home run and a couple of base hits, but limits the damage to just 1 run in the inning. The Dolphins lead it 8-5, heading to the bottom half of the 8th.
Cobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Bottom half of the 8th inning getting started from the College of Staten Island. The Dolphins lead this game by a score of 8-5. At the start of this inning, the Dolphins had a 4-run lead, 8-4. They give up 1 run in the top half of this inning, but Nick, it certainly could have been much worse.
Absolutely. They were able to limit the damage there. A nice job by Harding and the Dolphins to get out of quite the jam. Runners on 2nd and 3rd there with 1 out after the home run. So they'll take it, up 3 going into the bottom of the 8th.
Well, credit to Mike Morrow and the Dolphins coaching staff for sticking with Harding in that last half inning. They could have easily had a quick hook, pulled him out of the game after the home run and a couple of batters on, but they stuck with him, and he rewarded that confidence by recording the final 2 outs. He limited the damage to just 1, and the Dolphins will be looking for some insurance at the top of the order coming up here in the 8th inning.
Coach Morrow and the staff, including Coach Daddio, knew what to do there, and Coach Daddio going into the Hall of Fame this year, Joe.
He is, as the Hall of Fame class of 2022 was recently announced over at csidolphins.com and on all of CSI's social media platforms. And Jake Myers opens the home 8th with a line drive single into left field.
Jake Myers, nice job there to get the offense started. That's what he's supposed to do as a leadoff hitter.
That will bring Dominic Castiglione to the plate. Castiglione 1 for 4 in this game. Had a double into the left center field gap earlier. And he takes the first pitch for a called strike. Here comes the 0-1. And that skips in and to the backstop. Advancing to second is Myers. And I think that's going to go down as a wild pitch. That one bounced well short of the plate. Perhaps Lynch had a chance to block it, but I think that has to be a wild pitch.
Tough job there for Lynch to drop that, to stop that when Winslow is bouncing out in the dirt.
That ball might have been a couple of feet short of home plate. Myers now in scoring position at second. And the 1-1 pitch to Castiglione is low for ball 2. Two and 1 the count on the Dolphins center fielder. And the pitch from Winslow is taken for strike 2. There is action in the Stack bullpen. The Dolphins bullpen is now quiet.
I think Kehoe's just ready to go. And I think once we get to 2 outs here, we'll see him take a few more pitches, and then he'll likely come into the game to close it out. As we mentioned, 2 games tomorrow for these 2 teams, doubleheader, and then the Dolphins, they play next Friday in Dobbs Ferry, New York, against Mercy College, and then as that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. And then right back here next Saturday, WrestleMania Saturday, doubleheader against Mercy College, day 1.
Well, you know where I'll be on Saturday night. As soon as this game is over,
Island.
I will be booking
7-Eleven on the way.
7-Eleven, Taco Bell, maybe more. On my way out for WrestleMania.
Throw on a You Know I'm Right podcast on the way. The question is, are you coming home Saturday night, or are you staying for the weekend for the 2 nights of WrestleMania?
I think we're staying for the weekend. There was some consideration about potentially calling an NYU game here on Sunday, but that likely isn't happening, as that's under the glove of DeMarzo and into center field. Coming in to score is Myers. The Dolphins now lead it by 4. And it will be interesting to see how that's scored, as there will be an error allowing Myers to score. Now, do they give Martin a hit for that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
That's just under the glove there. But Dolphins get back that insurance run that they lost last inning. So nice job there by them.
Now, Martin stands over at first. He reaches on the error. That's the second Spartans error of the game. And Shendi Ulaj is the batter. He's ahead in the count 1-0. And Winslow misses down and in for ball 2. Ulaj is 2 for 3 in the game. Has walked, singled, and doubled in 4 plate appearances. And the 2-0 is fouled away.
Our next broadcast, which will be you and Andrew Rotundo on the air, most likely will be Thursday, March 31st, 2:30 p.m., a doubleheader of softball where you get the St. Thomas Aquinas College Spartans taking the Dolphins. So we'll see how the ladies fare in that one.
Softball broadcasts always come with the asterisk, weather permitting, every time.
Yeah, Joan, I did see the forecast. Looks like there's going to be some rain for next Wednesday and potentially Friday. So keep posted to csidolphins.com and at CSI Dolphins on Instagram for all updates on that.
As Ulaj draws the walk, ball 4 rolls all the way to the backstop, but Martin will stay put at second. Taking a look at the forecast right now, we have rain in the forecast for tomorrow, and then no rain in the forecast again until Thursday right now. We also have a high of 60 in the forecast for Thursday, which would be very welcome. And for Orrin Winslow, his day is done. He heads back to the Stack dugout, which means that on the other side of this break, we will have a pitching change. When Nick and I come back, we'll bring you that pitching change and the conclusion of the bottom half of the 8th inning.
You Know I'm Right is the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, entertainment, and pop culture. On the show, hosts Nick and Joe walk guests through the retelling of their humble beginnings, covering an array of topics from specific interests and hobbies to personal opinions regarding each facet of their industry. You Know I'm Right offers insight on how to adapt and advance, and offers alternative advice as opposed to a one-size-fits-all strategy. Above all else, the number one goal of You Know I'm Right is to offer listeners an exclusive behind-the-scenes vantage point not found anywhere else through its increasing list of professional connections. With a following that continues to grow daily, You Know I'm Right is transforming into a must-listen podcast in the right place at the right time. Find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You do not want to miss an episode of You Know I'm.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins lead it 9-5 in the home half of the 8th inning, and an opportunity for more for the College of Staten Island as the Spartans bring on a new pitcher. It will be number 3, Mateo Reyes, taking the mound for Stack. In 6 appearances this season, Reyes has pitched to a 1-0 record. Across 8 innings, he has allowed 9 hits, 6 runs, 4 of those earned. He has walked 5 and struck out 7. He is averaging about 8 strikeouts per 9 innings and has pitched to a 4.5 ERA.
Reyes in here needs to limit the damage. Get quick outs here and give his team a chance in the bottom of the 9th, down 4.
First Dolphin he will face is Pat Gardner, and Gardner has had himself a very good day at the plate. So a tough test for the Spartans right-hander coming out of the bullpen.
Top of the 9th for the Spartans has the middle of their order coming up.
Well, if there's going to be a chance for the Spartans to get back in this game and make it interesting in the final inning, it will be left to 2, 3, and 4 in their batting order to do so. The first pitch to Gardner is in for a called strike 1. Gardner is 2 for 4 with a couple of doubles in this game. 3 runs batted in.
And he had that great catch.
Has made an impact with his bat and with the glove. And he's way out in front of that 0-1 pitch. That's a good pitch from Reyes.
And you may possibly see him pitch tomorrow on the road against the Spartans.
Certainly a possibility. Last week it was Esposito game 1, Gardner game 2. And Gardner takes just out of the strike zone. Liam Harding threw 24 pitches for the Dolphins in the previous half inning. Certainly appears his day is done, and Kehoe was waiting to come into the game, but we'll see. As Gardner just held up.
Perhaps if the Dolphins get another run here, Morrow holds Kehoe for tomorrow. Sends Harding back out there for the 9th.
Very often the pitchers who will enter each game for these teams, very scripted.
Mhm.
Coaches often know who it is they want to get innings, and they find a way to get those players innings regardless of the situation. So we'll see if that's the case. Here comes the 2-2 pitch, and that sails up high for ball 3. I think a perfect example of that is you certainly could have made the case to keep Kevin Ryan in for another inning.
I have a feeling he's probably going to start tomorrow. That's why he only went one inning.
Can't say I disagree with you, as the count has run full on Gardner. See if the Dolphins send the runners here. Unlikely from second base with Martin running. Runners hold, and Gardner takes a called strike 3.
3-2 count right there. Anything close, got to protect. Takes it for a called strike 3.
Well, Gardner was able to smile as he walked off to the dugout. He knew it as that pitch came in right at the knees, and it will be left to Stephen Kalika. Kalika doubled in a run in his last at bat. He takes on the inside corner. Gardner with 3 RBIs in the game, Kalika with 1, and the man on deck, Nick Cipoletti, with 2. And Kalika rips one into straightaway right field, and misjudging the ball was Guerra. It hits off his glove. That will bring home Martin from second, and Kalika holds at first with an RBI single. Now, that's a tough scoring. I think that's a base hit, but Guerra absolutely should have made that play. He misjudged the ball.
Well, he came diving in there, and I think it's definitely a base hit. I think he just was unable to get to it, and he blocked it from going past him.
Now, the bad break is the reason he didn't catch the ball. He broke back and then realized the ball was a sinking line drive in front of him. He tried to make a tough backhanded sliding catch, and by then it was already too late. He couldn't recover from the bad break. So it's an RBI base hit for Kalika. Nick Cipoletti is the batter, and he takes a called strike.
The win today, the Dolphins would go to 7-8 overall in the season, and they'd be in first place in the ECC at 1-0.
Unbeaten.
It's the Blue Pants, Joe.
Could be. Have we ever seen the Dolphins lose in the Blue Pants?
Never seen them lose in the Blue Pants.
I guess we'll find out how superstitious the Dolphins are next time.
Maybe we can check with the former sports information director, David Pizzuto, to see if he has any history logs on the Dolphins with or without Blue Pants and their record.
Now, those would be some detailed record books. Breakdown by uniform combination. I'll Photoshop the combinations if he has the numbers.
That'd be fantastic.
I helped create a history of the CSI Dolphins men's soccer kits last year.
Oh, boy.
One ball and 2 strikes the count on Nick Cipoletti. Dolphins with a chance for even more insurance here in the 8th. And Cipoletti skies that one out toward right center field. And Combo had to range a long way to make that catch, but he puts it away for the final out of the inning. But the Dolphins do add 2 more insurance runs. They now lead 10-5. Spartans down to their last 3 outs.
Car is damaged. Where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island with the Dolphins leading 10-5. CSI adds 2 more insurance runs in the home half of the 8th inning, giving a cushion to Liam Harding, who is back out onto the mound for CSI. We were not sure that Harding would come back into the game, but after throwing 24 pitches in the eighth, Harding is back on for the ninth.
Joe, I think a big part of the reason why Harding's back out there is the 5-run cushion here. And we'll see if he's able to get through this here with some good batters coming up here for St. Thomas Aquinas. Leading off for them this inning is going to be the number 2 hitter, Andrew Jamison. Then following him is going to be the number 3 hitter, Matthew Johnson. So quite the test here right off the bat. And then you get into the sluggers there at 4 and 5 to follow.
Well, the previous inning for the Spartans presented them with a great chance to potentially tie the game or at the very least get to within a run. And they could not come through with a big hit. The Dolphins have come through time and time again with men on base here in this game today, and that's what stopped them from earning a sweep against Bloomfield last week. The Dolphins hitting with men on base today has been exceptional.
Absolutely. A lot of clutch hitting by the team. And it's been a team effort, of course, with Gardner, Cipoletti, Kalika, and Castiglione.
That's grounded fair down the left field line. The Dolphins thought it was foul, but that was certainly a fair ball, no doubt about it. And that rolls deep into the left field corner. It's a leadoff double for Andrew Jamison, and the Spartans have the leadoff man on.
And that is going to get some action in the Dolphins bullpen.
That ball wasn't hit very well, but that was certainly a fair ball. Just a well-placed grounder along the line, and that rolled deep into the left field corner before Burkhead was finally able to chase it down.
Balk.
They wasted no time calling that one, as moving from second to third is Jamison, and how big are those insurance runs right now?
We'll take a look at that after this pitch to see if we can get a clear look at the balk.
Now, is a balk also a ball?
No.
As that sails up high for ball one.
All right, here's a look at this balk. Came up, yep. Little foot tap there. Double
Sure
tap.
did.
So certainly a balk. Good job there by the umpire in the C slot to see that one.
The next time we see 3 umpires on this field, it will be for playoff baseball, hopefully, next season, as the Dolphins will be postseason eligible in 2023.
Of course, for so many years, the CUNY playoffs were hosted here. I believe in the ECC, it's just the home team is the host team.
And that pitch is fouled away. One and two the count on Matthew Johnson. And that's hit mile high down the left field line. Could be trouble as 3 Dolphins converge, and the ball is dropped in fair territory by Burkhead. The throw to second is in time to get the runner Johnson, who tried to swipe an extra base, and the Dolphins make him pay.
Well, the run does score there as 3 players were converging there. And it looked like Ulaj had the best shot at it, but he falls down. But great job there to get that throw in, and to take a look and throw the runner out at second. But we'll trade a run for an out at this point, as they're up 5. So up 4 now, 10-6, with 1 out and nobody on base.
Well, if you're Johnson in that spot, you just can't do that, trailing by 4 runs. And if Johnson's on first right now, the tying run stands in the on-deck circle. Instead, the tying run is in the hole at this point, and Spartans quickly get another base hit. I think we had a pinch hitter there as well. That was not Gregory DeJaro. I have to pull out my roster, but we had a pinch hitter right there who attacked the first pitch and immediately is on. That was Eric Volpe, who singles through the middle.
Nice stop there by Campese.
So Volpe is on first, and Danny DiMarzo is the batter. DiMarzo homered in his last at-bat. And that one's fouled away. I made a mistake saying that the tying run would have been on deck had the runner been on first. The tying run would have been in the hole had the Spartans maintained that base runner. One out here in the ninth as that one goes straight through the legs of Campisi. He finds it, but not before Volpe easily takes second base.
Volpe heads up there to advance.
It's been a busy day behind the plate for Nick Campisi. A lot of tough pitches to block. 2-1 the count on DiMarzo. And that one is hit well down the left field line, but also well foul. As we do have action in the Dolphins bullpen once again, and I believe Kehoe is back up and throwing.
Yeah, I feel like if the batter gets on here, Harding's probably going to be pulled.
Harding's thrown 33 pitches out of the Dolphins bullpen. Here comes the 2-2. And that is swung on and missed for strike three. Huge strikeout for Liam Harding as Danny DiMarzo goes down swinging for the second out.
Now batting the right fielder, number 33.
Big time strikeout when you need it most there by Harding to get DiMarzo.
Dolphins 1 out away for their first victory over the Spartans in 22 years. Andrew Guerra is the batter, and he tips that one into the glove of Campisi for strike one.
And for the first time in program history, at least a share of first place in the ECC in baseball.
Well, don't forget, the Dolphins' games played in conference do count for all of the other teams when it comes to postseason seeding. So these games are important for every other team the Dolphins face, and of course, these teams don't want to have a loss to one of the provisional programs, those being CSI and DUville. Right here, the Spartans down to their final strike. Here comes the 0-2. And Campisi can't block that one either as it rolls to the backstop. And he recovers it, but not before Volpe takes third.
Kehoe back in the dugout now, so this will be Harding's game to finish.
Harding quickly approaching 40 pitches. This next one will be number 39. One ball and two strikes the count on the Spartans right fielder. Harding comes set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that's down low for ball two. Sean Lynch is on deck, followed by Kyle LaGruda if it gets that far for Stack. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that is outside for ball three. Count now full on Guerra. And the payoff pitch from Harding is taken up and in for ball four.
And that is going to bring Sean Lynch to the plate. 1 for 3 with a walk so far today.
I hate to harp on the point, but it's what I do. If that runner is still on base right now, the Spartans have the tying run at the plate in this spot. And Lynch takes down and in for ball one. If Lynch can keep the inning going, LaGruda would be next. He stands in the on-deck circle. 1-0 the count on the Spartans catcher. And he takes a called strike. Volpe on third, Guerra on first. The 1-1 pitch to Lynch is on its way. That's fouled back. Once again, the Spartans down to their final strike. One and two the count on Lynch. Harding looking to close the door on the Spartans once again. And that pitch is grounded to third. Ulash can't make the backhanded stop, and that one rolls into the Dolphins bullpen. And the Spartans will bring the tying run to the plate in the the top half of the ninth inning. And it looks like Mike Morrow has seen enough. He's going to make a pitching change.
We'll see, because no one was in the bullpen, but I guess Kehoe is ready to go for all his pitches he threw. It looks like he's going to come in, and with the tying run at the plate here, it's the right call. You have to make it. I know we're going to extend the bullpen, but have to do it.
An error goes up on the scoreboard there for the failure to make that play by Ulaj. And I'm not sure he needed to backhand that ball, but this infield has created some really tough hops all day, and good luck being a corner infielder on this afternoon. It has not been easy going for either third baseman in this game.
We've seen that particular type of play happen a few times here on both sides.
So Kehoe comes into the game out of the Dolphins bullpen. I'll have to pull up his numbers on my phone as my printout has them cut off. I think, Nick, you're going to beat me to it. We'll see.
See if we're able to pull this up here. And who gets it first? You had the head start.
I think I got there first as Kehoe comes in with an ERA of 5.82, a whip of 1.65, and a record of 1-0. He's appeared in 5 games. This is number 6. He has started for the Dolphins 3 times. We mentioned his one complete game against Chestnut Hill earlier in the broadcast. He's thrown 17 innings on the season, has allowed 21 hits, 13 runs, 11 of those earned. He has walked 7 and struck out 13. He's allowed 9 extra base hits, and 73 opposing batters have hit .288 against him.
And his favorite food is cheesesteaks, and we had quite a bit of those over the summer, Joe. We went to Citizens Bank Park, and our buddy Nino is not feeling too hot after 2 cheesesteaks.
No, he wasn't.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 12, Kyle LaGruta.
So Kyle LaGruta will be the batter, and he represents the tying run at the plate. LaGruta is 1 for 4 in the game, and Kehoe's first pitch misses for ball 1.
Kehoe in his last start, a complete game for the win, and now in his next appearance looking for the save. Quite the feat if he's able to pull it off.
Comes the 1-0, and that's up high for ball 2.
Now, what's interesting to note here is Kehoe has not thrown in the bullpen in probably like at least 10 minutes or so, because they sent him back to the dugout once that second out was recorded.
Could be a bit cold as the 2-0 pitch is fouled back. I'm a bit surprised that LaGruta was swinging there.
And he's been throwing for about 3 innings in the bullpen, so could be cold now, could be a little fatigued. And I know Coach Morrow probably did not want to use him here.
It didn't appear so, as that's a nice backhanded stop by Campese. But the count runs to 3-1, and things beginning to get very dangerous for the Dolphins here.
Walk here brings the go-ahead run to the plate.
Here comes the 3-1, and that's way upstairs for ball 4.
Well, Joe, why don't you harp on what happened again once before, because right now you'd have the go-ahead run on first.
Now batting the left fielder, number 18, Christopher Conti.
It would definitely be a far more dangerous situation had that base runner not been erased trying to take second. Not even so much because you'd have the go-ahead run on first, but because you'd only have one out.
We have a pinch runner at first as well. A little bit of a speed increase.
That's number 35 over at first. I have a roster in front
Paul
of me.
DeVito from Tottenville High School, the senior.
Christopher Conti is the batter. The tying run stands over at first. Conti, the go-ahead run at the plate, and he fouls the first pitch back. Conti is officially 1 for 2, has walked twice, singled, and struck out. His lone base hit was a big one at the time. It tied the game at 4. And Conti takes low.
Someone's shouting at the umpire, don't squeeze him now, don't squeeze him. But at this point of the game, you got to call him as close as possible.
1 ball and 1 strike, the count on Conti. And Kehoe's pitch is hit deep to right field, but well foul.
And that one had the distance, Joe.
It sure did.
So that was,
wow.
That was almost a grand slam there, but too far to the right. That landed a good 20, 30 feet beyond the fence, but just too far foul to the right.
That was some shot by Conti. Spartans now find themselves down to their final strike once again. And Kehoe's pitch skips in and rolls to the backstop. Each runner will advance a base. And now the tying run stands in scoring position.
Boy, oh boy, Joe. Who saw this one coming? But now the outfield's going to come in, I would think, so they could get the play at the plate.
Boy, oh boy is right, Nick. If you're a fan of the Dolphins, the Spartans are a base hit away from potentially tying this game. Here comes the 2-2 pitch, and that's fouled back.
Burkhead has moved in for potential play at the plate because Stiglione took a few steps in as well.
Well, Nick, the cardiac kids strike again as the Dolphins never fail to make it interesting, whether playing from ahead or playing from behind. There always seems to be some late game drama here at the CSI Baseball Complex. Here comes another 2-2 pitch, and that's a good block by Campisi once again.
Big block there. Could have put the tying run to third. We said slugfest. 18 runs, Joe. 24 hits apiece here. It's been incredible.
8 runs on 12 hits and 2 errors for the Spartans. 10 runs on 12 hits, 3 errors for the Dolphins. Stacked down to their final strike. Kehoe comes set. Here's the payoff pitch, and that is taken for ball 4.
To quote the great Charlotte Flair, uh-oh, bases loaded here. Nowhere to put him at this point, Joe. A single here probably ties the game. Got to be careful with those wild pitches as well, but Campisi's done a great job so far.
Well, now's the time to harp. How big is that out the Spartans gave away on the base paths right now? Huge. As the first pitch to Cumbo misses up and in for ball 1. And Kehoe is struggling with his command. There is no action in the Dolphins bullpen. This inning belongs to Kehoe. 1-0 the count on Cumbo. And Kehoe's pitch is fouled back. Cumbo came on as a pinch hitter and is 0 for 2 at the plate, has struck out and grounded out in 2 at-bats. This game now 3 hours and 12 minutes old. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's fouled back.
And once again, the Spartans are down to their last strike.
The Dolphins haven't been able to close the door yet. Another opportunity for Kehoe to pick up the save. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count on C.J. Cumbo. Long look in from Kehoe, who comes set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And Cumbo lays off that pitch in the dirt for ball 2. Good at-bats from the Spartans throughout this inning. They have not made it easy on Dolphin pitching. Harding was chased. Kehoe came in relief, looking for the save right here. And that is skied foul into the seats and out of play.
2-2, 2 outs, down 2, bases loaded, top of the ninth. You want drama, you got drama.
And once again, number 2, C.J. Cumbo at the plate.
2-2-2-2.
The Dolphins looking for a 2-run victory. The Spartans looking for a 2-run base hit. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that is up and away for ball 3.
Have to throw a strike here, Joe. Let him try to hit it. Cannot afford a walk.
Think you're right. It will take an extra base hit to beat you with 1 swing. You have to challenge here. You need to make the Spartans earn any more runs. 3-2 pitch on its way from Kehoe. And that one is ripped through the left side for a base hit. The tying run will come in to score. Holding at second is DeVito. And Stack has come all the way back from 5 runs down to tie the game at 10 in the 9th inning.
Well, great job by Stack here in the 9th inning to stack up the runs. 5 runs here. We'll see if the Dolphins are able to answer in the bottom of the 9th, but a collapse of epic proportions here for the Dolphins.
It looked like CSI had this game, and they let it get away as the score is now tied at 10. Andrew Jamison is the batter. He's 1 for 5 at the plate and ahead in the count here, 1-0. And the 1-0 misses well out of the zone for ball 2. And Mike Morrow will emerge from the Dolphins' dugout.
Well, Joe, you may have jinxed us earlier in the game when you were asking what's the extra inning rule, because we could potentially be looking at extra innings here.
We don't say those 2 words, Nick.
Let's say the other 2 words you want to hear together. Walk off.
I'm impartial.
Well, listen, I think we can both agree we want this game to end in 9.
It depends. We get paid by the hour.
It's getting cold.
It is getting cold. I think we agree. We want this game to end before sunset.
Well, we probably got about another 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
This inning alone has been about 20 minutes this top half of the inning.
Well, if we have to close the window again, it's going to sound like you and I are calling the game from a glass box, because effectively we are at that point.
Keep it open a little bit.
A little bit.
Mic out.
2-0 the count on Jamison. And that one's hit to deep left field. Burkhead chasing it back towards the wall. He looks up and it's off the fence. Burkhead fields it off the left field fence. 2 runs come in to score. Heading for third is Jamison. And he slides in safely with a 2 RBI triple. And the Spartans have taken the lead 12-10. What a comeback for St. Thomas Aquinas College. Here's another look.
Wow, Joe. Well, great job of hitting there, that's for sure, on the triple. And Spartans bench is fired up. 7 runs here for the Spartans. We'll see if the Dolphins are able to answer, but they still have the chance here, the Spartans, to tack on with a runner in scoring position at third. And all this, Joe, with 2 outs.
Really unbelievable. Had the Spartans scored a run before there were 2 outs in the inning. I think they had 1 on the board, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to check the play-by-play as that's hit out to right field. Gardner is there waiting for it, and he makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. But not before the Spartans score 7. They now lead the Dolphins 12-10 heading into the bottom half of the 9th inning.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we are back here on CSI Sportsnet. And if you tuned out for the top half of the 9th inning, you missed a 7-run outburst by the Stack Spartans, who trailed 10-5. Entering this inning, they now lead it 12-10.
Spartans there showing how courageous they were, and great job by their coaching staff to rally the troops, keep the team in the game, and they put up 7 runs.
So with 2 outs in the inning, the Spartans trailed 10-6. They scored a run after a leadoff double and a balk put a runner on third. They then singled home a run, and the runner was thrown out trying to advance to second and make it a double. So at that time, it was 10-6. That was with 1 out. Then they had a pinch hitter who singled, followed by a strikeout. So they had 1 on and 2 outs, and from there, they managed to score 7 runs in the inning, 6 after the second out was recorded. But Brian Burkhead and the Dolphins will not go down quietly, as Burkhead lines a base hit into left center field.
And that'll bring the tying run to the plate.
John Castiglione.
As John Castiglione will check into the game here as a pinch hitter. And down 2 here, Joe. We hate to keep harping here, but Spartans could be up 3 if not for our base running blunder.
Certainly could be, as we have a new pitcher for Stack. That's Justin Bayens, who comes out of the Stack bullpen. Bayens, one of the few returners I had on my roster from last year, assuming that my roster on my scoring app was correct.
The junior from Lynbrook, New York, business administration major. 10 innings pitched so far this season, 5.4 ERA.
And he's behind Castiglione here, 2-0.
I'm sure his sister Johanna and his parents, Anne-Marie and John, are watching this one, looking to see if their son can close it out.
Dolphins failed to close it out in the top half. Chance for Bayens in the bottom half as that's hit well out to right center. But ranging back to make the catch on the run is Guerra. That was not an easy play.
Nice job there by Guerra going into the right field and with the win there.
I have to say, I'm a bit surprised to see Castiglione swinging 2-0.
Number 3, Jake Myers.
Oh, guess he figured I'm in here to pinch hit. I need to swing the bat. But top of the order now here with Myers.
Oh, I haven't seen enough of Castiglione yet to know if he's a candidate to tie the game with one swing. He hit that ball well, but ahead 2-0, I almost expected him to take one. Jake Myers, the Dolphins' leadoff hitter, is the batter. And he offers at the first pitch and hits it to straightaway right. And Guerra is there to make the catch for the second out.
Both Castiglione coming up now. I think the strategy probably needs to be to take at least a pitch here after back-to-back pitches going for an out.
Dominic Castiglione is the batter with CSI down to their final out. The Dolphins surrender 7 runs in the top half of the ninth to fall behind by 2. Tying run at the plate for CSI here in the bottom of the ninth, and Castiglione takes strike 1. 0-1 the count on Castiglione. And the pitch from Bayens is on its way, and that's fouled back.
And now, which is hard to believe if I would have told you 30 minutes ago, the Dolphins are down to their last strike.
The Spartans were down to their final strike at least 4 times, maybe 5 in the previous half inning. So we've seen already that doesn't mean much. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. And Castiglione takes down in the dirt for ball 1. This game has now reached the 3-hour and 25-minute mark. Dolphins hoping to extend it for at least a few minutes longer. Spartans in search of a big final out. Here comes the 1-2. And Castiglione hits one out to center. Coming in is Combo. He might not get there, and it falls for a base hit. Going first to third is Burkhead, and it looked like the Spartans might have been playing no doubles. And that cost them right there as that ball falls in front of Combo for a 2-out single.
Just a nice piece of hitting there by Castiglione to muscle that one up to loop it out there for a single, and now Martin comes to the plate. And the tying run is on first, and Martin would be the game-winning run.
Off the bat, I thought we had the final out of the game right there, but
me too, Jim.
The Spartans were certainly playing no doubles, and they had Combo just a bit deeper than normal, and that few extra steps cost them. As Thomas Martin takes a called strike 1, Martin is 0 for 3 and has walked twice. Martin certainly a candidate to end this game with one big swing. An extra base hit could very well tie it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that's it on the ground to short. It's hit slowly. Jamison has it, and he forces out Castiglione at second. The ball game is over. As the Spartans celebrate a 2-run victory, they come back from 5 runs down in the top half of the ninth, and with a 7 spot, they beat the Dolphins 12-10.
Well, Joe, impressive job by them hitting and whatnot. I mean, this team to rally back in the ninth, score 7, just an incredible job there. Let's not forget here that they started off giving up 3 runs on the first inning, but Dona, he ended up slamming the door shut there at 4 consecutive innings without giving up a run after his rough start, which really held them together. For the Dolphins, just pretty rough luck there with the pitching at the end of the game between Carding and Keogh.
And we will learn a lot about this Dolphins team come tomorrow. What we saw today is that they can compete with a team that is often near the top of the East Coast Conference. The Dolphins with a very strong showing in this game, and came within 1 out of picking up a multi-run victory, but it was not to be on this night. The Spartans rally for 7 ninth-inning runs and pick up the win. But again, Nick, we'll learn a lot about this Dolphins team based off of how they bounce back tomorrow.
Yeah, doubleheader, and we'll see what time that kicks off. And it's going to be important for the Dolphins to shake this one off and kind of forget about it as they take on the same team tomorrow, the Spartans, a doubleheader. And then we mentioned it before, but Friday, taking on Mercy College at Mercy. Saturday, doubleheader. Well, 2 doubleheaders next week. Friday, a doubleheader against Mercy. Saturday, a Mercy doubleheader here at the College of Staten Island Baseball Complex. So 4 games next weekend. And getting into the conference play here. So going to be important for the Dolphins to shake off this rough loss.
A lot of East Coast Conference baseball to look forward to in the coming week. And very quickly before we sign off, some standout performances for the Dolphins in this game. 3 base hits for Jake Myers, 3 base hits for Stephen Kalika, 2 big RBI base hits for Pat Gardner, and a tremendous play in the outfield. John Esposito worked 6 innings in this game, allowed 4 runs. He struck out 11 for the visiting Spartans. Multi-hit games for Jameson, for Johnson, for DeMarzo, and for Guerra. On the mound, as you mentioned, Nick, it was Aaron Dona who got the start. He threw 6 innings as well, allowed 4 runs. He struck out 5. And it was the Dolphins' bullpen that really imploded in the final inning. CSI had gotten some good pitching out of the pen until that point, but the Spartan bats came alive, and the bounces simply went their way as they score 7 in the top of the 9th to win it 12-10. The Dolphins did bring the go-ahead run to the plate in the bottom half of the 9th inning, but that was not enough as CSI falls by 2. So the Dolphins back in action tomorrow on the road. They take on the same stacked Spartans team, and for us, our next broadcast will be on Thursday, as I will be joined by Andrew Rotundo for CSI Dolphins softball. First pitch against the Spartans at 2:30 p.m. next Thursday. So until then, this has been Joe Foreman, and for my broadcast partner, Nick Durst, and all of us here at the College of Staten Island, we thank you for watching. Once again, our final score, the Spartans 12 and the Dolphins 10. Our next broadcast Thursday when Dolphins softball takes on this same stacked Spartans team. If you can't attend the game, be sure to join us here on the ECC Network for that broadcast, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.